And welcome into this episode of the Depths Podcast. I'm your host, Atramentum _X, variety streamer and LewdTuber. This is episode 34, episode rule 34, but we will be talking about Seiso and unseiso content today, including whether there is a divide between the two for the panelists we have here today, whether the VTubing space is too sexualized, and some of the stigma that LewdTubers face when making content. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lady Mystique, who is a cat today.
Yeah, I didn't have my crown, so I thought I should put on some ears. Just to match the vibe of everybody else.
Ear squad.
True. I do not have horns or ears. Well, actually, no, I do have ears.
You've got tentacles.
I do have tentacles. Very true. Mystique is rejoining us after taking the last two episodes off. We are very happy to have Mystique back as my co-host. Say hi, Mystique.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be back. Love you guys. Mwah.
We're going to have our panelists introduce themselves, going from directly next to me to Lady Mystique, starting with Kaimio.
Hello, I'm Kai. I'm a dog tuber. It's been a bit. Hi. You can clearly tell I was really rehearsed for this, but I do I do a bunch of stuff. I'm a variety streamer. We do the lewd. We also do, I guess, the nude. I also do animal-related welfare content. I used to be a veterinary nurse, so a lot of that stuff. And yeah, there you go. Can't get worse than mine.
Thank you so much. Kai is on a little break from Twitch, but currently streams on the Blue site quite a bit and makes a bit of content there as well, so go and check them out. Next up, we've got, returning to the podcast from the script writing episode, Mr. Googs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Googs. I am also a variety VTuber. As far as my content is concerned, it's that way because I'm ADHD, so I do a lot of everything. I write scripts, I do audios, I do lewd stuff, I do IRL lewd stuff. Sometimes I show my face on stream if I'm feeling saucy enough.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Yeah. And then, I play a lot of different games. I run a D&D campaign. I run a game show. It's kind of, I can't decide on what I want to do, so I do a lot of different stuff. So, It's hard. It's hard out here.
For real.
He's just like me, for real.
For real.
Always good to have you back, Goog. Goog also was on the bonus episode for Hentai Matsuri, so make sure you check that out. It's on Spotify if you guys are
that was
interested.
such a fun panel.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Highly recommended. Next up, making their first appearance on the podcast, Pegasus Witch, aka Celine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Celine. I am a Pegasus VTuber, and I want to say variety streamer, but I've been playing mainly Pokemon lately. So much Pokemon. I stream on Twitch about 3 to 4 days a week, and then I also stream over on the Blue site, and am starting to get more into VA work and things like that as well.
Celine, a venerable name in the streaming space and the VTuber space, but also relatively new to the Blue site. Doing both sides of the content right now. A pleasure to have you on, Celine.
Thank you for having me.
And next to Celine is our grizzled veteran of the podcast, making what I believe is their fourth appearance. I'm not entirely sure. Gotta check
Something like that.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. I'm getting so grizzled I might have to rebrand as a bear, but hi everybody, I'm Raina. If you haven't seen me before, I'm surprised, but at the same time you should be watching all of the Depths podcasts. Have you been supporting Outro today? But yes, I'm Raina the Mouse. I'm a variety streamer both here on Twitch and on the Blue Heart site. I do genuinely a very weird mix of things. On the Blue side of things, I do a mix of IRL content, both video and photos. I also do voice acting and script writing. I also do a lot of my own audio editing and stuff like that, so I've been playing a lot with Foley and effects and things like that, which has been a lot of fun, but also massively stressful and time-consuming. And I do not have a lot of time these days.
No,
but when I
you
do
didn't have
find
enough time to begin with.
and then I added more. And then I went, you know what? That wasn't enough. But whenever I do find the time to breathe and also play the things called video games, I am often found playing visual novels, doing voices for the different characters and things like that, and also bringing in cohorts and friends and stuff like that to voice along with me, and for other people to watch me be very bad at tactics and other quick time style video games. Don't trust me in do not trust me in Helldivers 2. That is all I can say.
You have Helldivers? We'll talk.
I was gonna say you'll find out. Look, you'll get very familiar with the term "danger close" when you play with me.
Can't be as bad as the time I got shot in the head while trying to save a teammate. They just were aiming at a bug and blew my head off.
Okay, so actually, tiny fun fact: one of the very first times I ever played Arma, my first instinct was when someone came around the corner. I didn't look at the uniform, didn't look at what gun they had. I just immediately shot them in the face. The person I shot in the face was my boyfriend. I shot my boyfriend in the face in Arma, and thank God I was the medic because I was able to bring them back.
Comes around. Where is Spooky?
The ultimate, I can fix it, I can fix it, I can fix it.
Pretty much. Like, when I say I can fix him, it's a vain hope with a first aid kit.
Oh my goodness. I also want to give Lady Mystique the opportunity to introduce their background, because they do have a background in this sort of work.
Hi everyone, I am Lady Mystique. If you haven't come across me before, aka that pink one that won't shut up on Atra's talk show, I am a variety streamer. I like playing comfy games, cozy games, and funny games, and I have been leaning heavily into Fansly, mostly in VR currently. I'm going to be learning how to stream in VR soon. I also do photo sets, videos, and voice work. And I do my own Foley as well. So yeah, you can find all of my links at ladymystique.tv.
Thank you so much,
Seriously.
Mystique. Mystique has a
Please
background
go follow
in
Mystique stuff.
sexology.
It's so good.
Hell yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Has made a couple of explainer videos for the channel. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, go check those out under Mystique Explains. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with a hot question, actually. I'm going to make sure that everyone has the chance to answer this one, but we don't go in any kind of order here on the depths, so folks can jump in and we can have that discourse as we have it. But here is the number one thing you hear a lot these days when it comes to LewTuber discourse, and that's, how do you feel when you hear people say LewTubing is easy or a shortcut to quick growth?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's sour grapes, honestly. It's because a lot of the VTubing space is consumed with people wanting to play the comparison game, which, as we all know, is the ultimate way to not find happiness, is to compare yourself to others. So when somebody sees somebody being successful and then they find out, oh, well, they're also doing, like, sexual content, well, that's why. That's why, because sex sells. And, like, yes, we all know that sex sells, but also many of us LewDtubers also know, sure, I can pull numbers over on Fansly, and then we go over to Twitch, and nobody really wants to watch us do that. You know, it's like both sides you have to be working hard on. You can't just like go, oh, people want, unless you're like leaning too much into a parasocial kind of relationship with your fan base. And then they're like all thinking that they're going to date you if they keep on showing up at every single one of your streams and stuff like that. Then you might be able to get a lot of crossover. But like, if you're being ethical about it, I don't think it's. I think it's just sour grapes to be complaining about it.
It's. There's also like I've noticed there's like a very big. People don't seem to understand or realize that numbers on different sites don't translate to the same thing on another site. So like a prime example, I could have tons of reach on Twitter, but then I have like only a fourth of that on Twitch. And that is just the nature of the beast, because each website's going to function differently. But I get very tired of the LewTubing is like your like jump start to success, because like the way that I like to put it is the VTubing space is very big. The people that treat this professionally like a job is very small within the
very
VTubing
small.
space.
Very small.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
So you have like very much like a very small pool of people that do treat this professionally, and when it comes to like LewTubing and things like that, it's a lot of work that goes into it. Like I am constantly working. There's rarely a day I take off.
Mood.
And that's where
Yeah.
I think people see and they think it's easy content, and it's really, really not.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of it kind of also kind of connects to they assume because something is trending on Twitter that that's how it's fast tracked of content and support and community like support comes from. And it's like, yeah, sure, I can post a picture of myself in like for example, the gold chain dress. Did numbers, people really liked it, people enjoyed it, but you want to know why that did so well? It was free content that was easily available that they didn't actually have to directly come to me for because people were retweeting it, people were finding it in other ways, and none of that equates to actually supporting me in any way. It's just more people potentially getting their eyes on me, and then, especially if it's an IRL thing, they'll suddenly be like, who's this furry chick? And it's like, and so, and unfortunately, a lot of it does stem, like, it is sour grapes. It's a lot of people who go, well, I'm putting in hard work, but I'm not as successful. You're successful because you do this thing that I don't do. So I'm blaming the thing that you do that I don't as the reason you are successful. In comparison. And it's like, that's really not fair. Because
it's not
entirely different demographics. Like, look at this board we're at right now. Like, there are so many different styles, variants, different, like, I'm leaning towards the cartoony. We've got the slightly more, like, anime soft aesthetic. We've got the magical vibes. We've got, like, the horns. We've got the pink. We've got the jacket. We got, like, all these different things that are made up of all these different styles. And it's not because... obviously it's you. but it God damn it.
I'm sorry.
I suppose we're all pink on the inside.
Well, actually, check out the Blue Heart site. Some of us might prove that wrong. Anyway, fair enough. There is also just the fact that, like, there's a difference between, like, comfortable comparison where it's like, oh, this person's really successful, and then going, why are they successful? And not going, well, it's because they do this thing and I have to judge them for it. It's like, no, taking it as, you know, well, they're successful with this demographic because of these things. Like, I'm somewhat mildly successful with the furry demographic because, you know, and also the fact that, like, I'm also...
Well, I have no idea why. You'll have to
I know, right?
clue.
I know. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me think about it real hard here, real quick.
Because she has ears, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Atra, you don't have ears. I'm so sorry.
No.
Oh.
All right, moment of silence.
And a moment of silence for Atra's silenced ears.
These are prosthetic.
But yeah, it's.
Oh dear lord.
Oh, poor thing, he's deaf. But no, it's essentially like so many people just kind of like doing it as a way of going. It's like they're trying to devalue the success made by the other person because of one of the paths of success they managed to get.
Well, and that's I think the thing that's particularly harmful about it is that it really is this thing of it's not just them being like, I'm disappointed in my growth. They are quite literally attacking the other person and being like, you don't deserve
the difference of jealousy versus envy.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's like a very big line with that, and it's the way I kind of like tell like my friends and stuff. It's like feelings are normal. Feelings are okay to experience. It's how you act upon those feelings that really dictate your character. And it's okay to feel jealous or feel like stagnant or things like that, but don't attack the other person because you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know how hard they've worked to get where they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what I see with people that are really struggling with stuff is it's a marketability thing. They don't know how to they're not marketing themselves.
Yeah, creating content is like literally effort, and you know, there's also strategy that comes with creating content. So
you have to know how to market your brand. You are your brand, and I think a lot of people struggle with finding their brand identity with their content creating.
Yeah, because the other thing as well that you can kind of combine with that is how do you promote your content? How are you getting it out there? Because I've lost track of how many times that I follow the subreddit like r/ blue heart advice. And like just because sometimes they actually do give like, you know, genuinely good advice. There's also people who bring up when like, you know, tech issues are coming up with the payment systems and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, that's why this isn't happening. Oh, thank goodness, because as a Canadian that can sometimes be a little bit confusing. But the amount of times I've seen, I'm just getting started, I post every day 3 times a day, why am I not getting any traction? Why do I not have enough subscribers? Why are people DMing me for free stuff and whatnot? And it's like, it's because they're not promoting anywhere else. Like, if I looked at their actual Reddit, they're not posting in any of the support Reddits. They're not on Twitter. They're not on Blue Sky. They're not on any other site aside from the one to promote themselves. And it's like, well, it's because no one knows you're there yet.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
Promoting
the amount of
yourself
people.
is so important.
Right.
I think there's also an aspect of people see content creation and they see the faces we put on when we create content. It's fun, it's happy, it's relaxed, but they don't see what goes on behind the scenes. And I think people get into content creation thinking that, you know, it's a fast track to success or fame or whatever, and they are shocked that, you know, when they don't put any work in, that that people are, that they're not succeeding,
That they don't get
people
anything
don't
in
care.
return.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I do follow that subreddit also, and there was like a guy who wanted to like start a fansly and like, you know, do the thing, and he just had a goal in mind, and it was like the amount of money he wanted to make. So he goes in there and he's like, okay, do I just like post pictures? Like, what do I do? And then like the subreddit's mostly ladies, and they're creators also, and they're like, yeah, you need to do like voice work, you need to do like these kind of angles, these kind of shots. It's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Just disregard all the
All
advice.
right, nice. Good job.
All I'm gonna do is
I don't wanna say-
angle dick pics. It'll be fine.
That
I don't want to say classic male answer right there, but
I knew a guy
Oof.
who was he decided he'd start a fansly, and he just posted terrible like AI images.
That's even worse.
He had like wings coming out of his head, and in one he had 3 legs, and like they were absolutely abysmal.
I'm sorry, but if you have to use AI to give yourself a 3rd leg to promote on Fansly, I'm sorry, that just means you're hiding the one that you don't want to show off.
No, it was terrible. His dick was pointy and all sorts of weird shapes.
Oh,
and he was
no.
so
His AI
It's
fucked
pointy.
shit up.
It's
There's a niche for everyone, but you know,
Yeah, exactly. And
the
he was
sharp
surprised that no
penis
one was
isn't
paying
really
him
doing it
for
for you?
these. Like, generated...
with a cock like a cactus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really scrubbed
I'll
you out
order.
on the inside.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, I can't. Why do I yes and like this?
Why are you like this, Goog?
Oh my god, I know.
Why do I
My
feed
partner
into
says
it? I
the
like
same
it.
thing. She goes, "Why do you always yes and, but it's in the worst kind of way?"
it's always so.
there's a disclaimer every time.
Yeah. warning, I'm about to yes and get out. Run.
See, it's also funny because like this is a great point that Raina brought up earlier about like things on Twitter being free, accessible, and like retweeted by others.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you can tweet some like good art out. You can even put some AI art out there. Like, you shouldn't, but you can do that, and it'll do well. It'll get traction, and it'll give you this weird impression that you can just do that on pay sites and be successful. Also, and nobody's
Gotta
gonna
give
wanna
the
pay for
people
that.
somebody like that. I mean, that's kind of one of the things is like we're all doing this to a certain extent as creators, but like it's the constant need and pressure to constantly evolve, but also create a brand. Because that's the thing is like kind of what Reina was talking about is like, yeah, you've got the furry thing, but you also have to bring in something that's not being done by somebody else to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and especially when it comes to like sexual content, there is such a saturation of it. What is making your brand stand out? And so that's kind of the thing of, I think that's why it hurts in particular when people say like, oh, you don't deserve the growth that you've gotten. And it's like, I literally have been doing CBT to myself because people are into that shit. Like, is it
Well,
particularly
sex is easy
something
to denigrate.
Yeah.
It's very publicly acceptable, socially
Oh,
acceptable
absolutely.
to denigrate.
and like I think that's one of the things that's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because it is one of those things that I think to a certain extent, if you hang out with a lot of lewd tubers, you do get into a certain bubble where it is everybody is very socially accepting of sexuality. And like if you hang around those people and the people that hang around them, and then suddenly you like get to the, I don't know, the lighter side of Twitter or something like that, and people are like, ew, gross, you're so gross, and it's like, oh right, I forgot.
Oh right, y'all are like
right.
People hate me. Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, because like I've definitely heard like things like that where somebody like made a remark where they're just like, I see you around and you seem so sweet, but then I saw that you do a lot of like blue site stuff and I don't agree with that. And it's like okay.
Yeah, it's like you
don't have to be mutually exclusive, but okay.
Didn't you get refused a commission for a logo because you do lewd content? And they were like, I'm not comfortable making a logo for a lewd person.
I saw about that, yeah.
Like what?
Yep.
Unless it has a dick in it or something. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, I've definitely been rejected for art before, and it wasn't even like a like sexual art piece at all. It was like me and my like little dog, like my little familiar dog. It was just supposed to be cute, and they're like, I see that you do a lot of lewd content, and I don't feel comfortable working with you. Which is like, at the end of the day, it's their choice. But at the same time, it's to be lumped in where they immediately assume it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what hurts.
Yeah, it's the automatic assumption that, oh, well, if I work for you or if I work with you, I'm immediately going to be assumed as a worker correlator. So I don't want to give myself that reputation, because clearly just by associating with you, I'm suddenly going to get a bunch of people in my DMs asking me if I do that kind of work as well, or if I will work with people that will do that kind of stuff, and then start asking me stuff I'm not comfortable about. And I'm just kind of like, or you could tell people, hey, read my TOS. And if you don't have, and here's the other thing, if you don't have in your TOS or in your do's or don'ts list stating, like, I do not want to work with sex workers, or I do not wish to work with people who do lewd work, just put it in there. But the problem is they don't want to put that in there because they don't want to be stigmatized for it.
Yeah, they also want to be selective about it. You know, it's the same thing as like kind of like, I mean, it's honestly just prejudice stuff. They want to be able to have the right to say, no,
yes,
I don't like you, but I do like you.
The moral high ground, the moral high ground route.
That when
is
Faye or like Melody comes to you, you can be like, yeah, I take your comms. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. It's my biggest pet peeve is lack of communication in any space. And I like lack of communication when it comes to like your TOS and stuff. Like lack of communication with that, where it's like not clearly stated, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, agreed. It's like, I already have a hard enough time finding people that are willing to draw furry, let alone one that does what I do. So it's just like, and I'm over here just like, I just wanted cute Animal Crossing art with me and a friend, but okay, I guess.
I'll take my business elsewhere.
Not me, I suppose. Yeah, and then I found an actual person that was totally chill and did really fantastic art. Yeah. I will say
is it Pretty Woman where it's like that? Like, big mistake. Big.
Big mistake. Big mistake. Ironically, I had the reverse of that, where a friend of mine who's an artist who does a lot of really wonderful art, but they also do a lot of not safe for work art. They very rarely open up their commissions, and I reached out to them, and their first instinct was, oh, she's going to ask for like something not safe for work. I'm like, I'm so ready for it, but also I'm like curious what she asked. And then I was like, hey, can you draw like this really cute cuddling piece between me and my best friend? And they're like, wait, really?
With clothes on?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I'll be like in my full, like my usual pirate garb, and they're gonna be like napping on my chest, and I'm gonna be like writing in a book. And they're like,
that's so cute.
I'm not gonna lie, not what I was expecting from you. And I'm like, I'm not this all the time,
right? Right.
I gotta dial it back sometimes.
Yeah, they were like, it was like half joking, but it was definitely that moment of like, I'm not gonna lie, not what I was expecting you to first com from me. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but also like, bro.
Sometimes I wonder where this like comes from. Like, I'm gonna be the first to call it out. Yes, there are plenty of people out there that are like, that do not turn it off and are sexual all the time and are posting horny all the time. And some of those people are not around anymore for reasons we won't discuss. See previous episodes, but I feel like that has given the LewdTubing space a bad name among people who are not.
It's
So,
the
like,
bad apple spoils the bunch mentality.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think you LewdTubers get a bad rep for that kind of stuff, but I think VTubers in general just kind of get a bad rep. for that.
Very true.
Yeah.
Because the big thing, and I think I've discussed this a couple times. I don't know if I've done it on here, but it's kind of this thing of VTubing has this slight toxicity of, unlike streamers, because streamers never go the streaming community. But when it's
They
the
don't.
VTubers, it's the
VTubing
VTuber community.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, I got my community of me and my homies, and like that's my VTubing community, if you want to call it that. But like, I don't know more than like probably 90% of y'all. Like, so I can't really say I'm part of that community. I'll hear about people. I see cancellation documents on people, and it's like legit stuff, and I'm like, I never heard of this person, and they're like,
Yeah.
you didn't hear
I
of
just suddenly
them?
see a
I'm like,
cancel post, and I'm just like, who?
yeah.
Every day I get onto Twitter, and usually I'm done with Twitter in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
I
People
admit,
that I admire, like, log on to Twitter, post something at 5 o'clock, and then log right off.
Yep, that's me. That's
Yep.
me. I post something, I get the hell off.
Same.
yeah, I don't know if I've just been very lucky. Like, I do definitely still get, the fly in my pie when I'm scrolling through Twitter. But I've correlated my own little personal bubble of Twitter that is like, I have turned off retweets from the people who like to retweet the problematic stuff, but their actual content itself is good. And I've I don't tend to I very much make sure I try to stay as much off the For You page, because apparently the For You page when you're a VTuber is, did you know the latest problems? And I'm like, I really didn't, and I didn't want to.
Please.
I get the problem where I have had so many people, and maybe it's because I give off mom energy, where people will just come to me, and it'll be our first time ever interacting together, and they'll just be like, I feel so comfortable, like I can tell you everything, and I'm like, can you please not?
I get that too.
Don't
Like,
put
I
it in
appreciate-
writing anywhere,
Yeah.
please.
It's like, I appreciate that, but there are things I don't want to know.
That's how you end up
I-
in someone's doc.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I did end up actually in a situation where somebody was like, "Oh, you give off like such comforting, like warm, like mom style energy. It's really, really reassuring." And I'm like, "That's nice. Can you join my like group DM? That's my mental health support group." And this was like our third time talking, and I was like, "No, but I will cheer you on your mental health trip from the sidelines."
Yep.
But I'm just like, how do I get out of this without coming off like an ass? But at the same time, it's like, it's super awkward, because like, it's actually, this kind of correlates into the LewdTubing side of things as well, as people coming into your DMs thinking because of what you do for work, it's super okay to get weirdly aggressive,
Absolutely.
And
super
sexual
creepy,
immediately.
or sexual, or go like, and this is a personal favorite because I've received it a few times. Well, what were you expecting with what you do?
Oh yeah.
And it's
I
like,
just you were
first of
asking
all,
for it.
ew.
One day.
I'm
Give
gonna
me
like
names.
one of the big things is, and I tell people all the time, I'm like in like the not safe for work content making sphere, we are some of like the biggest people about fucking consent. Like consent for everything. Like you
That
like
actually feeds into something that Scargentum or Scargentum,
Yeah, I was going to
Gentum,
mention that too, as Scar.
just posted. The odd thing is, a lot of people caught with the inappropriate behavior in question specifically don't label themselves as lewd tubers. And we've discussed before on this podcast a few times about how people do that as a way to appear quote unquote safe.
Safer.
But actually you would with many lewd tubers, you would probably be just as safe, if not safer, because they have to understand the bounds of consent to do their work. Not that all of them do. Some of them are complete assholes and deserve
the
to be Google
majority.
docked into the
Yeah.
fucking sun. But
Yeah,
you
we're
are
too busy
not
editing
more or
gods
less
over here.
safe because someone
Right.
is not a lewd tuber.
Like
Mhm.
I preach the 3 C's to my community all the time. I'm like, consent is sexy, communication is key, and if all else fails, compromise.
It's a good one.
No,
And that is what I
solid.
preach constantly, because it's like, if you can't get along with someone, at least try to be civil with them. Like,
Yeah.
reach a compromise, like a
For
compromise.
sure.
Mhm.
But like the number of like non-labeled LewDtubers I've had try to come into my DMs and like dom me and stuff the moment they hear that I do like something
Yeah.
or I'm a brat.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, especially
Oh, you
like
just
since I
haven't
do
found
pet
the
play
right dumb
content.
yet.
Man, it's so terrible because people just come in, they're like, "I'm your owner," and I'm like, "Ooh,
Oh
You
my
are.
God,
No, you're
yes.
not.
Sorry,
people have
Kamiho.
this really
Kamiho, I
bad,
didn't mean
actually.
to.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh,
Listen,
I will also say one of the things about the people that in question have those bad behaviors and aren't labeling themselves as LewDtubers is, I think, to a certain thing, is it's a public versus private life. So like when you're lewd in public, your private life is like a little bit more tame, I would say. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
go seeking tons of sexual partners, because part of my work is that I have sexual You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're like,
Yeah, it's like
I'm not
I don't want to
looking-
take work home with me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking to
Yeah.
try and chase after somebody to get sex when I'm getting sex.
yeah.
But then if somebody is not showing that kind of personality in front, but they're a person who is very sexually repressed or anything like that,
Oh
then
my
in
God,
private
yeah.
they're going around and they're doing all of these things. And they think
Yeah.
since it's in private, and you see this a lot, I feel like, in the VTubing space, because a lot of
Because
people aren't...
it's you don't see your real face. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
you
oh,
don't
well, this isn't
Yep.
real. I'm playing make believe.
I think there's that, but I
Um,
also think it's that they suddenly get a bit of confidence suddenly because they're not used to people finding them attractive.
So
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I
my
actually
God.
had this
How
conversation
dare
with a
you?
few
Just
friends
add
in the
me
past.
next time, Goog. Jesus.
I had this conversation with a few friends before where it's obviously, and as is with everything, this is not a blanket statement. However, a lot of times, especially with what pretends to be the troublemakers of the community, it's people who didn't really get a chance to peak in high school, so they're using VTubing as a second chance to peak. And so they're like exploring the persona that they wanted in high school or that they idolized in high school and going, that's me.
They're being
I'm
mean
the
girls.
sex
They're being
god.
Regina
What do you
George.
mean?
They are being, they're being
my
the Regina.
God.
Oh my god.
Why are you calling out the sexy demon man? Anyways,
It's definitely like, I think it's also the fact that for as chaotic as this community can be, they are genuinely like, it is one of the first communities, because like I've been like in the cosplay community since I was like 14 years old. And I am plus size IRL and everything. This is one of the first communities that when I've said I am a plus size content creator or like plus size in any way, I have actually had people be like, that's fucking sexy, because that's not a thing with the cosplay community. I've gotten nothing but backhanded compliments in the cosplay community with my weight.
Yeah. No, I've seen that too.
And I
at
think because
conventions as
people,
well.
yeah, and I think because people are so supportive and like trying to uplift people about like good body positivity, some people take that as a way of like running with it and using like basically like being able to like kind of try to put as many things under their belt as they can, you know? And that's kind of what I've experienced with like a couple of people, and it's usually I'm going to use it like the fake dom mentality. Where
internet
like,
doms.
yeah, where they're like,
Oh,
they're like,
the
I
bane
can
of
dom
my
everyone.
existence.
Yeah, where they're like, I can dom everyone, and it's because like people are like wanting to uplift them, which I want people to be uplifted. Like I have terrible self confidence. I want people to like uplift each other because that shit's amazing. But don't use it as a way of like trying to get into someone's pants type of thing, you know?
Yeah, and don't hide your intentions behind false.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes.
exactly.
The
That's a good
biggest
way of putting
thing.
it.
But also so I'm a big uplifter as well. I really want people to feel happy about their bodies, love themselves, and everything like that. But that got me into hot water when I first started out with this VTubing stuff. I think I mentioned this to Atra too. I was getting DMs from people where they were just straight up sending me videos of them like masturbating.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, I don't know what to do here because I'm like, I don't want you to feel bad for like loving your body and wanting to show it, but I'm not really interested in that. And they were like, oh, did you hate it? And I immediately started feeling like, oh no, there's and like now I just stopped that shit right off the get. Like, somebody tried that with me the other day. There was one that I stopped the other day where they were like, I'm feeling a little bit randy. And I said, you can go to this website right there and you can pay per DM and we can go crazy, baby, and it's going to be great.
Great redirect.
And they were, but then, it's one of those things of, I think there's also an ethical aspect of it. Because, like, they wanted to initiate that. I set up a boundary. But a lot of the time, I think sex workers get a really bad rap because there's a lot of, like, bots and stuff out there that will be aggressive in the sense of, like, go here and talk to
click my
here.
link.
Exactly.
In secret DM.
And I would say bots / like, scammers, all these different things. Or maybe even people just trying to be, as I was saying, immoral with aggressive the way that they're aggressive promotion, shilling.
Shilling, yes.
Yeah, so like, they're doing that, and I think there's like aspects of encouraging people to buy a product and stuff like that, but like, I don't know, just going out and what's the word? Not loitering, but going like door to door almost and being like soliciting, exactly, like soliciting it is like, that's where I'm like, I don't know, and I think that's what gives a lot of people bad reps when you do try and set up these boundaries, because people are like, oh well, fuck you, you're wanting me to pay, and it's like that. Yes.
This is, I hate to tell you this, but because we're not that close, this is a business.
It is a transaction at this point.
A big job.
Also,
my dad always said, if you're good at something, get paid for it. So,
to touch on the thing that you were talking about as well, about like somebody sending you an unsolicited video or like picture or something like that, and then of course it turning into like, oh, do you think I'm ugly? That's why you don't like it.
That's manipulative.
That is, first of all, that is manipulation. That is 100% manipulation. But there's a thing that this is going to sound a little cold, and to those of you who suffer from body issues or body mentality, dysmorphia, all that stuff, my heart bleeds for you, trust me. I have been through God knows how many different shapes throughout my life, and I'm actually currently in a state where I'm trying to get back to being more fit, specifically for my health, not for like vanity reasons. So I get it. I get not being proud of what you see in the mirror some days. However, your lack of self-appreciation should not cause for a lack of requested consent.
Exactly.
If you are going to send a picture to somebody, ask first. If you are going to send a video to somebody, ask first. Just because I'm kink positive, just because I'm sex positive, just because I'm finding your true self and finding that body that fits you best positive, because don't get me wrong, get that emotional bag, feel better about yourself. I want you to be living, thriving, and just absolutely accepting yourself in the best way possible. That does not mean I want an unsolicited picture of your breasts.
Exactly.
Yes.
But wait, what if I have free use tattooed on my chest?
I did see that.
Does.
Okay. If you let me know that that's what you're going to be sending me, I might genuinely be like, hold on, let me ask the Candyman, because I kind of want to see that because I'm curious. But that's still consent.
There is one thing I've noticed too when it comes to people's like OCs and personas, and I always use the example of my friend Renry, who was a puppy girl VTuber, and like had a leash, had a collar as part of her like persona, and eventually just did away with it, like rebranded, became a demon essentially, like took away all the puppy stuff, because while that was part of her OC persona, the way she identified, people were coming into her DMs and not respecting that and saying, I want to tug on your leash, I'm your master now. And I do wonder if you possibly like have had to deal with that as well, identifying as a puppy girl.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for me, like, as a dog tuber, it's more like, after my 9 to 5 being a stinky human, I go dog mode, that's who I am. It's my comfort level. I like being a little stinky puppy girl. But also, like, like kinky wise, like, I love pet play and I love like stuff like that too. And like, thankfully my community has been incredibly great with consent and stuff like that. But of course you get the occasional terrible DMs of being like, "Hey, baby, you want me to be your master? You gonna drink out this dog bowl for me?" And I'm just like, "Excuse me."
Aw.
But like, just a question on that. Do you think like is that primarily like Twitter DMs that are?
Oh,
going
absolutely,
with it?
exactly. So like
It's
most
never
of the
on
people on
because the
the
thing is that the Fansly fan base, they're all like pretty educated on this shit. 'Cause
absolutely.
it's a very tight pool of the people who watch VTubers on Fansly.
Exactly.
Yes, it
and
is.
I am into like, harder kinks as well, and my community knows that, and they know how to skirt the line and ask for consent beforehand before they even say the stuff. So like, it's one of those things where I think it really does depend on like, morality and how people kind of view the community, but like some people just are blind, man. And just have no social cues and just go in and just think like, oh, this person's a VTuber, they have a personality, obviously they're just a dog 100% for me. And I'm like, dude, no.
Yeah,
It's
actually
always the Twitter DMs, man.
see,
Great point, though.
Ironically enough, I don't get a lot of the Twitter DMs, but what I do tend to get is I'll either get like new message on Discord, and that's always scary when I see that little red one in the top, and I don't know who it's from. But the other one for me is, and again, not the VTuber community, but my specific community is very protective of me, and they are very respectful of me as well.
Yeah.
They know the vibe, they know what to do, and if somebody doesn't pass the vibe check, half the time I don't even have to say anything.
Right, exactly.
The
But
crew is
I always
throwing
end
them out.
Pretty much like the door.
Literally.
The scary thing for me is whenever I see the words new user or I see user string of numbers, because then I'm like, you haven't been vetted yet. I don't know what your vibe check's gonna be, and you're probably going to either A, pick up on the vibe of the room and either decide if it is or isn't for you and you can play by the rules, or you're gonna go, oh, female mouse character, I'm gonna talk about either A, voring you, B, putting stuff in asterisks, or C, because especially if I'm in Dom space, because I'll sometimes flip with my chat depending on the night. But I am primarily dominant when I do my stuff. They take it as a challenge, and they're like, "Oh, you're just a Dom because you haven't been the right sub for somebody," and I'm like, "Ew."
Ooh.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
They take it as a challenge, and I actually had to talk to a friend of mine who does also do the dominant personality. They tried to play like passive aggressive Dom in my chat, and I direct message them, and I'm like, don't do that. Not cool. You did not talk with me about that beforehand, and I'm not cool with you doing that. And they're like, oh shit, I was trying to just be playful and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, have you ever seen me do that with anyone else? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, that's why.
It's
a little bit of common sense.
no-no.
It's like, oh my god, maybe there's some correlation here. But yeah, it's... And they were super respectful afterwards, and they were like, hey, I'm super sorry. I totally didn't mean for that. Because the thing is, they have played, like, Dom badminton with people before, where it's like, who's gonna out Dom who? Blah, 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 blah.
Oh.
I'm not into
Internet
that.
cake measuring contest.
I love seeing brats interacting with Doms and whatnot that they are familiar with, and their interactions. That's great. I love seeing that for them. I'm not interested in Dom badminton, and I'm not interested usually in brats. It's like, look, if you want to be here and you want to have fun, then I'm totally game, because I'm a soft Dom for my vibe.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if it's not the energy I want to feed into, I'm not going to, because I don't want to ever compromise my morals or my preferences for the sake of content.
Absolutely.
I've
Exactly.
learned so many good words from like this podcast. The Dom truck from Lady Mystique. Dom
Well, it's like another big thing is like with brats, because like I am a brat. You have to like yeah, and that's the thing. Like I used to be more of a switch. I'm not really a switch now because of some trauma related stuff, but even with bratting, you have to still have like consent, and you have to know the lines in the sands with the people that are like doming with you. You have to know what is their stopping point. What are they okay with? When is it time to pump the fucking brakes?
Yeah.
And if you keep pushing past that, you're not a brat anymore. You're just a fucking asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a line between being a
Yep,
brat and being
100%.
disrespectful, you know?
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
I think Atra made a tweet about this at one point, and it really spoke to me because it's one of those things of like, internet doms get this like rap of being like, oh, if you ever say you're dominant, you're like an internet dom, and it's like cringe and you're like
not
gross
the
and stuff. And I'm like,
case.
it's the same with brats though. When
Yeah.
somebody online says to me
Yeah.
like, I'm a brat, and I'm like, oh god, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you a
I've had
brat
to-
or are you just like obstinate and not willing to like that's fine. You can just say that. You don't
Are
have
you a
to say it's a
brat or are
brat,
you,
or you can just be like, I'm gonna be a dick and just be
Yeah,
like mean.
exactly.
Just frustrate you.
It's
Yeah,
like,
just frustrate you. Like
it's like, are you a
Throwing
brat or are
peanuts
you
at the
just
gorilla
using this
at the
as an excuse to be an asshole type of thing? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've had to like explain that
disrespectful.
to so many people where it's like you still have respect, you still have an understanding, boundaries and stuff like that, because that's fucking important.
yeah, because it should be about each other's fun. Like I think that's the thing. It's a communication thing. Like it's not all about you. You're a selfish lover if it's all about you.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
if you
it's
get
not
the
all about
vibe that okay, they're getting frustrated, then it's no longer fun for them. And so if
Yeah.
you don't care, sure, I guess, but then you are kind of an asshole.
Yeah, it's selfish
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
It's what Shimmy says in
I don't
chat.
like
Are you a
that.
brat or are you using this as an asshole ticket?
Exactly.
Okay, asshole ticket's another word that we're going to add to the definitions.
I like the asshole ticket.
Asshole ticket is pretty good.
Oh my god.
I feel like that's one of those ones that could easily get like misconstrued though. Like I saved the like whole entire world from a weird pandemic thing and now she said I got an asshole ticket.
What does it mean?
Just kind of a reference to Kingsman right there.
Where's the subtext?
I need more context.
I think what can also be a problem too, and I know Mystique has been dealing with this as well, is people sort of coming into your DMs and like sort of trying to stealthily hide their intentions by being like
Trying to be your friend.
trying to be your
Yep.
friend.
Not the
'Cause, you know,
parasocial angle.
If you befriend a
Yep.
YouTuber, you get freebies, right?
Ugh.
Exactly, Beetle. The long
I'm
con
so
DMs.
tired.
Long con DMs.
I'm so tired
Yeah.
of these. I get them so often, or it'll
You
be
know-
like,
Oh, we're both in the same kind of field, and we get along
Yep.
so well. Oh my god, I love your vibe. Hey, would you want to like do a thing together, and then like maybe shout out my stuff? And
yep.
it's like, honey, we
Or-
talked for maybe half a day at best.
I'll also get the DMs where they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you're making content over on the Blue site. If you ever want help climaxing, you can like always hit me up." And I'm like, "I do it myself. I'm fine."
Honey, if there's one person you don't need to
Yeah.
ask for help reaching my own orgasm, it's me. Like, I just,
Right.
Must be nice.
I've got this, like, I've got them cheat codes down at this point.
I
Up,
think
down,
I
down,
think-
left, right, left, right.
It's like,
I think there were
BA start? Yeah, exactly.
BA start.
I think like the last time I got a message like that, my response was I was like, I don't know, dude. My chat seems to be doing pretty well on that site without your help.
Yeah.
And the other way you could spit it as well is like, no, I'm not going to make it easy for you. My chat likes a challenge.
Exactly.
They want to make it worth it. It's like, why
The
would I give
number
you
of
trade
times I've
secrets
been
away?
edged.
Oh my god!
Every fucking stream.
Or just like, all right, I'm getting feral now. This is turning into a
I'm
danger
starting to
zone
get
for y'all
angry.
now.
What mood? That's such a mood.
Mama Mouse is going into mother mode. This is not going to end well for you.
Like, you better get your shit together. I'm getting real done.
Mother has arrived in the chat.
Mother, please.
I am no
So-
longer mommy. I am mother.
Mother Miranda.
I am gonna
Oh, yo.
pivot us on to another question.
Yeah.
Great discussion so far, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to hear definitely from everybody, of course. So, here's the question. It's, do you have sympathy when other streamers talk about how the space is being, in quote unquote, too sexualized? Is the VTuber community too sexual overall, in your opinion? So like the crux of this question is you see these posts every once in a while. It's someone who gets
Yeah.
harassed, someone who like, you know, has an unpleasant
Yeah.
experience with somebody.
Yeah.
And they're a normal streamer. They did not invite this upon themselves at all. But
Mhm.
like got something like unsolicited or unwarranted. And their immediate reaction is like either, hey, don't sexualize me, I'm not a LewdTuber, or like the space is too lewd and like I these people are making things too lewd and now I'm getting strays for it. Like
I think that first statement you made was like, "Oh, don't say that stuff because I'm not a lewd tuber." I think that's hurtful for sure because you shouldn't
100%.
say that stuff in general to a person.
Yeah. Without
Exactly.
consent,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have any of that shit happening.
Exactly.
As far as it being too overly sexual, unfortunately, no matter the community, you're always going to have those people in the community that have a clear lack of consent or
Exactly.
like caring for others, and they're going to make things sexual without it ever being sexual. That happens in every community.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
even
like, it
outside of
happened-
VTubing, you know?
yeah,
like,
outside
Yeah.
of YouTubing, yeah. Because like I
'Cause-
used to do conventions and stuff, and the number of times I've had people grab parts of me
Ugh,
for my
yeah.
cosplay, like I
Oh,
cosplay
yeah.
like-
Cosplay is not consent. God damn it.
exactly.
Absolutely
like
not.
I cosplayed Beast from Black Butler, who is like
Oh, hell yeah.
leather corset, skirt, all 9 yards. I had to have one of my like friends who was cosplaying with me put his robe over me for us to get to our photo shoot location because people kept grabbing my ass.
That's so
Wow.
gross.
And that's
terrible.
Not a
That's an
it's not
immediate
okay.
flag for me to like call
Yeah.
security. Be just like,
Right.
get this person out
Exactly.
here. That's not
Absolutely.
okay.
I need an escort.
Yeah, and it's like, but the thing is, it's like that happens unfortunately without there being sex workers in the space and everything too. It happens
Exactly.
regardless of where you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate side effect is the fact that
Mm-hmm.
the people who are looking for an excuse don't need one.
Yeah.
They will just do what they want, and unfortunately, it's the same as the whole the bad egg situation. There's a few really unpleasant people out there that are just not going to give a damn about your
Yep.
consent, your safety, your comfort, none of that, because it is they're looking for the gratification for themselves.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah,
not
and
because
After taking
LewdTubers.
notes.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing is it's like it's like people going and blaming the government for like tripping over a crack. It's like, oh, I tripped, goddamn government, or something like that. You know, like it's literally that. It's like you're on the internet in a
Yeah.
public space. Like literally anybody can make a friggin' Twitch account, log in, go on your channel, and they can harass you.
Act a fool.
And I think
Yeah.
to a certain extent, when people are smaller and stuff like that, they forget that there are trolls out there.
Exactly.
Like there are people
Yeah.
who literally get their rocks off by going and being assholes online. So it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that there are
Yeah.
people making content where maybe this kind of behavior is acceptable, but most of the time the people that they're talking about are not performing in any acceptable manner. So
Exactly.
they're just literally going, I had a bad time, and they're showing their hand at that point going, I hate LewdTubers, is basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
like,
not
no-
trying to use
in a
LewdTubers
soft
as
way.
the reason for it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
and-
it's that soft sentence of it, the thing that they're not saying. If there weren't LewdTubers, this wouldn't be happening to me. And it's like, I hate to tell you this, honey, but
Yeah.
that is not how that works.
No,
If
people
I
get
would-
harassed and catcalled all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter what space you're in. It's gonna happen.
Now does it deserve to happen? No, absolutely.
No, absolutely
fucking
not.
However, it does happen, and us being in the space or not, like YouTubers as a whole, is not going to change that matter. It's going to happen regardless of us being here or not.
It's such a dilemma
Like-
because like it's like, do you say something when you see that? It's like, do you like step in and like correct this person, or do you just let them vent? You know, and
Oh no, you're a
Hands off.
LewdTuber. You already got a target on you. You don't comment on shit.
I
was
leave
gonna
shit
say,
alone.
it's-
Do not
I leave them, yeah,
engage.
to have their bit. Look, the thing
Stay
is,
in your corner.
the chance that I'm gonna change someone's mind with my tweet is
Very
very
small.
small.
Yeah.
People are going to have kind of founded positions and feelings on things, and
I mean,
the downside to
Yeah.
it is like, yeah, maybe if I had like a one-on-one conversation with them, like in DMs or something like that, or we like got talking, I was just like, hey, I saw this thing that you posted the other day. I wouldn't mind talking to you about that because like that felt super targeted and kind of rude, and you can turn it into a conversation. But like, it's one of those things where it's honestly better to just let sleeping dogs lie, because otherwise, the other issue is you go into the comment and it comes out as, well, not all lewd tubers, but
Or you're going to get everyone that's already frustrated within the comments, then targeting frustration towards you in particular.
because
Like,
then you
that's the
become the
thing.
problem.
you defend anyone online, you better be ready to be the ultimate keyboard warrior, because
Yep.
the moment you pop your head out on something that is quote unquote a hot topic, every single person is going to find you, and especially on Twitter, people are going to start retweeting your defensive stuff and being like, get this person. Because that's how
Can
it
you
goes.
believe that they talk like this? Can you believe that they defend? And this is one that I've seen a few times, which is always just super ick. Is they see someone going like, I understand, but it's lewd tubers aren't the issue. The issue is the people who feel that it's completely fine to be this way. To which someone else quote tweets it and goes, "Look at this lewd tuber defending sexual assault."
Yeah,
And it's
I'm
like,
so sick of that.
We
tape.
never said
No!
that. That's absolutely
Stop putting
not.
words in my
Never what
mouth.
was said.
Putting things in my mouth is my job, not yours. Let me say my piece.
This is also why
I
have
do
these
you,
male
I do
VTuber
me, you do
discourse,
you.
Or male
I mean,
VTuber
I
discourse,
absolutely
rather.
have like sympathy for people that are, people do have triggers, and some people obviously aren't really comfortable with that. But don't umbrella term anything normally. Like, this is not a nice thing to do in general. So I mean, we already talked about how like all of us are very much into consent and everything like that, and are super duper buckled up when it comes to things like that. So like, that doesn't correlate, does it?
It doesn't.
It's also the fact that I notice like a lot of times, and this has like happened to friends and stuff before, where they're almost like nervous to put boundaries up, especially like on Twitch, because they don't want to like lose a viewer or things like that. And no viewer is ever worth worth shattering your comfort level.
Absolutely
Exactly.
not.
There will always be someone else that is going to come into your stream and love you and respect your boundaries
Exactly.
to replace that person that was a shitty person.
Viewers are here to uplift
Exactly.
you.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, don't be afraid to set boundaries, and if someone acts like a fool, fucking get rid of them. I literally had one that my chat still refers to as Bozo.
That's a good one.
Because homeboy came into my chat, got angry I was taking up screen, and then we timed him out.
Your
with
stream?
My stream. Like my screen stream. And
Yeah.
so I went to the middle of the stream and
How dare you.
took up the entire space. It was like, guess what? Now I'm taking up everything. And waited the 15 minutes for his timeout to come back and then make rude remarks about me being a lewd tuber. And then we blocked him and I called him Bozo.
Kind of a W that he waited those 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was like,
time.
you really wanted to say something, huh?
Oh, you had to make
for
sure
the
you
view,
got
buddy.
his word in edgewise. It's like, goddamn.
Bozo's perfect because you
Sitting
clowned
there
on him.
stewing.
Also, I love that. I love that malicious compliance. Like, oh, I'm taking up a lot of screen here. Let me fix that by taking up even more of it. I love that so much.
True brat energy live on stream.
Honestly, that's the peak Brad energy. That is I love that shit. That's
I
good.
paid a lot for this fucking model. You're gonna look at me.
Like, how
great.
dare you
You
put
look
yourself
gorgeous.
on
You
your
need to
own
be seen.
stream?
Exactly.
People are so weird.
People are so
People are
wild.
weird.
I've noticed that like it's an issue like amongst like, streamers and also chat people from time to time, just a lacking of social and spatial awareness. It's just like,
Oh yeah.
the amount of times that people will flick onto what I'm doing and go like, this isn't the channel I want to watch. I'm going to tell them they need to do something different to make it something I want to watch. And I'm like, there's this really cool thing called the sidebar, right? Where you can see all the other channels that are active. Like, excuse me? And oh god, I love that you said you don't put your own morals aside for the sake of gaining potentially a viewer, because you're unfortunately going to set a precedence of building up a space that's not comfortable for you anymore, and you're going to
Yep.
fill it with people who like what you're doing that isn't making you comfortable.
Exactly.
So why are you? You're inviting people into your home. Like,
You
why
also
would you let
burn
people
out way
walking with
quicker.
mud on their feet?
Yeah,
Absolutely burn out
there's
quicker.
also an aspect
Yeah.
of it though as well, is like, especially as small community VTubers, like your job is also kind of protecting the community for your regulars.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
because I don't
if
want
there's a
my
person
people
coming in-
to get uncomfy.
Exactly. Like if you're uncomfortable, your community's uncomfortable, because if they've been watching you do 3 streams a week for months or something like that, like they know you. They can tell your vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They
Yeah,
can
like
tell when something is off.
My chat can sometimes pick up on when I'm uncomfortable with somebody in my chat faster than I can.
Dude,
'Cause it's like-
same. They're so
there's-
good at it.
Because there is also, yeah, like there's a lot of us that like to do, you know, being like up on stage and doing the entertaining thing. There is a certain sense of people pleasing that you kind of build into, but there's a certain barrier like a barrier that you kind of give yourself, like a threshold that's like, is that getting, that's getting a little close to something I'm not
Yeah.
super cool with. And then your chat's just like, hey yo, that's not cool, and it's like, all right. I don't know. Awesome.
Yeah, my boundaries are
Your
don't
heart grows
open
2
with
sizes
hello.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love my peeps so much. I appreciate them
Same.
so much.
I adore them. They're so good at picking that stuff up. Like, and I will say, like, your community wants to be there because you're being you. Like, in the last 2 or 3 months, I've started just being like, pretty much like, I'm not tolerating BS anymore. And it's like, if I don't like something, you get a sassy remark from me if you keep hounding the same thing in my chat now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm gonna give you a sassy response, like, you can't hear me, and they're like I had someone be like, I can't hear you because I'm playing another game, and I'm like, I can't control your game volume, I can control mine.
And that's a good response.
Like, I don't know what else you want me to say.
That's rough, buddy.
That's rough, bud. You should fix that shit. But it's definitely like, don't like compromise your morals or your like boundaries just for one person. It's not it's not worth it.
But my whole community keeps on saying allegations about me liking piss. What do I do there?
Play Moira from Overwatch.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
Become the anti-piss hero.
Hero.
Literally, they'll just sit here and anything piss related will come up and somebody will go, "The allegations are back!" And I was like, stop! I say one time that I think squirting's hot, and now you're all like, he loves piss!
Okay, well, that's just a misunderstanding of human biology.
He likes pee.
I agree. And then they're like, no, research shows. And I go, there are amounts in there. Yes, because it comes out the same hole. What do you want?
Research shows.
Mr. Goog P Master. It's like, no, stop.
And then, but you know, then I'm a little spicy brained. So they're like, so you don't like piss? I'm like, no. And they're like, so you wouldn't let anybody piss on you? I go, okay, well, if my partner was really into it or something, I'd be like, in the shower, baby.
They're really
Okay,
trying to get a
then it's
roundabout
fine.
confession
But like,
out of you.
I'm not going to be getting off that. That's because I'm interested in their joy, their passions, you know?
Confess.
But what they're gonna do
And-
is they're gonna take what you said in Coolsville sucks your edit and just be like, see,
Exactly.
confirmation, they like piss.
The man loves piss. I did it to myself?
Yeah.
What do you mean? No, this is victim blaming.
Editing the clip for this is gonna be hilarious.
Yeah.
This will be, I like
goodness.
piss.
I
I can't get
be like
enough.
the AI voice.
I like piss.
Don't give me ideas because I'll fucking do it.
The last thing you want. Oh gosh.
The last thing
The last thing you'd want.
in your Goose Fancily content is pissing.
Piss.
It's pissing.
Yet after watching this clip, you'll see what Goog really feels.
The
No,
answer won't
I gotta stop
surprise
saying
you.
it because now it really is gonna get taken out of context.
moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
So here's another thing too, and like this is like not even a secret at this point, but streaming on Fansly and SW content is lucrative. It generally is pretty lucrative if you even have a modicum of success with like a small audience. So I guess my question to you, like from the people on the outside looking in, is why even stream on Twitch? Why make SFW content at all? Like, what is your reason for doing like safe word content as well?
Do you know how hard it is to finish a game when your chat won't stop buzzing you?
Yeah, when chat makes you the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I love playing video games, and I like talking about video games, and I'm a fucking nerd. Yeah, I'm sexy, and I like Takum as well, but like, I have a life outside of that. So, you know, there's like, why not have, you know, it's eat your cake and have it too, which, you know, people are like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm going to sure damn try.
I'm gonna fucking try it.
I mean, like, yeah, are
like-
you jerking it 24/7? Like,
No.
No.
I've tried. It's real hard.
Look, I bruised a bit. I never want to bruise again. Once I've learned my lesson. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But like, I think the other part of it as well is like, I started on Twitch, so like, it would feel weird to like abandon what was essentially my first home, what was essentially the place where I got to meet all these lovely people and start, you know, growing the people that became my Blue Heart community as well. Like, I went from one into the next, and then I did the transition when I went full-time content creator because I could actually dedicate the time to it. And so it was a big, scary decision. And yes, the money I make from one site versus the other is almost laughable in comparison.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Twitch. But also, yeah, upping those sub prices really helped us out. Thanks, guys. But
Thanks.
yeah, woohoo! But hey, at least we have, you know, you can make your emotes big now. But
I'm cashing in on that.
yeah, But like, I think the other thing as well is that like, so there's just a place where sometimes I don't want to be sexy. I don't want to be like this vibe. Like, yeah, I'm always going to look this way or some variant of this way. I'm always going to be Reina, and I'm always going to be like the personality that I am. But sometimes I want to play, you know, I'm like, I want to play DS games with my friends, or I want to play like fighting games or something like that. I want to vibe and I want to just chill. It's like, believe it or not, every time I go to hang out in my living room, it's not a group orgy. It's like, no, actually, we're all just hanging out watching cartoons or some shit. It's like,
yeah.
like my whole house isn't a dungeon. I have my allocated time and space for the things I enjoy.
Mine
Yeah.
certainly feels like a dungeon. I
Absolutely.
have one window.
And
Dude, sometimes you just want to unwind, and sometimes you want to unwind. So, like, it just really depends on which platform you're going on to unwind, and, you know, like...
Yeah.
One, you're getting wound up, and then the other, you're, yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's, yeah, go ahead.
I also think, oh my god, no, what,
Oh, no.
brain,
The thought. No,
Oh,
it's flying away.
Oh, no, I think it looked
It'll
like
come
your
back.
model genuinely looked like lost, like...
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
like
you
lost in the
genuinely
void.
stared into the middle distance for a
You were
second.
just like, huh?
Where did it go?
Soulless eyes.
Well, I
I-
for
I don't
me,
know
a
what
lot of
it's
it's
like.
the. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mystique.
I don't know what it's like for you guys, but for me, I have people in my community who are not lewd at all, and they refer to me as like their favorite lewd tuber because I can turn it off, and I'm sure it's the same with you guys as well. It's being a person,
Yeah.
not being a machine. Where
Exactly.
you have
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was thinking of before. I think it's because the thing is like, yeah, it's more lucrative to be on Fansly. But do I feel like if I just started streaming on Fansly, then I wouldn't be doing what I wanted. I'd be doing what's
Right.
making money. And like a lot of people don't necessarily get into VTubing because we're all like, I'm gonna get rich.
Right.
Now,
Ugh.
Fansly is something that is enjoyable, and people go towards it because one, it allows them to continue doing what they love and stay financially independent while doing it. And it's a way that they can make money that they enjoy. But I think what really we all enjoy most of all is being cartoon characters online, playing video games, getting to know people, and making a community.
Right,
Like
exactly.
that's really what the passion is. and that is multifaceted. The only way you really make it as a content creator is being multifaceted. You have to be doing content in different ways. And so Fansly, in a beautiful kind of way, allows people that want to pursue this as a full-time thing that possibility. Because if I'm being honest, the people who are able to do Twitch full-time are the upper echelons. Or people who have a living situation in which they don't have to make much money.
Or they've got sponsorships from other companies and stuff like that they are literally paying them to continue to stream on Twitch as the primary location and things like that.
Because
Twitch, I would have to be getting 3,000 subs a month in order to be reliant on their money, and it would still be it'd be really thin. Because I live in New York City in a fucking studio apartment by myself. That's... And that ain't cheap. It's, So, Twitch, I would never be able to do that. And, I'm still not able to do that off of everything else I'm doing. But I'm also not, claiming to be a full-time content creator.
Yeah,
Fansly has changed, things dramatically for me. Because when I started out, I was trying to do the Lewd tubing thing on Twitch. And it's hard. It's hard to do it within TOS. It's hard to do it and make everybody comfortable because my friends were the people watching me, and not all my friends are here to watch me be lewd. Fansly let me have that little outlet valve where I can just direct all that energy there, and I became a lot more just like a normal streamer on Twitch because I like streaming, but I'm not very sexual. So
actually, you bring up a really good point. Since I started being over on the Blue Heart site. I don't know if we're just dropping the F word now in this case, I guess. Okay.
We're not promoting it.
True. Well, I mean, kind of, but we're out here talking about how much more money we're making off of that versus on the platform we're currently streaming.
Something about that Twitch.
Anyway, Poppy Twitch. But yeah, so you actually kind of bring up an interesting point that you can kind of how you've been streaming on Twitch has changed a little bit since you now have kind of the Fansly outlet. And I found that I have mellowed out so much more on my Twitch streams. I still drop dirty jokes and stuff like that. I've still got a sailor's mouth like nobody's business, and half the time chat just clips me swearing or dropping flustering sentences at my co-hosts and stuff like that, obviously with prior consent. Literally before I do any collab with anyone, whether it's Twitch or Fansly, I have a consent conversation prior where I'm like, hey, this is kind of how I talk. These are the kind of jokes that I drop. If we have good chemistry, I might get a little flirty. Are you okay with that? If you're not, I'll make sure to keep it reined in. And I do. And I'm very, very respectful of the homies that are like, no, I keep a super Seiso line on Twitch, so I want to be super, super mindful of that. I'm like, hey, yo, I got it. That's I get you, homie. I won't say a word in that otherwise. I'll be my usual chaotic self. I just won't bring out the lewd. And that's a lot easier to, I don't want to say restrain, but it's a lot easier to hold back now that I have the outlet that is Fansly.
Yes.
Because I have a place to get it out of my system, as it were. And I can kind of put more of my focus on that. Or I can kind of bottle it up and build it up for when I'm doing streams over there. And I'm like, haha, chat, you're not ready. And and have fun with them with it. And it's a lot more relaxing now. Which is funny because I've actually recently removed a redeem I used to have on my channel that was always turned on, the Mama Mouse voice. I do it so often on Fansly now that I don't feel a need to do it on Twitch anymore. And if people ask for it, I'll still do it. But it's they go where the content is. They go where it fits and where it makes the most sense for them.
I got rid of mine on my channel too. I think
hey, high five.
Yeah. I think for me, I started streaming, not VTubing, but streaming in general back when the Pandilly started. And that is because, and that's because I'm disabled. I'm immunocompromised, and I have a slew of other disabilities and stuff. And streaming was a safe way for me to interact with others without the fear of expiring. I guess
that's
we'll put it that way. And And like I got into the VTubing sphere, and it kind of grew from there. So I don't think that I would ever truly want to leave Twitch unless something like catastrophic happened. Because I've built such an amazing community. Like 90% of like the people that come to my Twitch streams also come to like my Sexy Blue site streams. And there's a lot of like bleed over between the two. And yes, I do agree where it's given me like an outlet, so I'm not quite as feral on Twitch. I like kind of reserve that more for the like I'm chaotic, but I'm not as feral.
Right.
But it's definitely like having the blue site has helped it be where like because I am a full-time content creator. This is my only job because it is a struggle to get a job when you're like disabled, especially with like having a service dog and stuff. It is a real struggle. And that site has kind of made it where I'm able to do this full time with like the sponsors and stuff and things that I have on the side as well. But Twitch is one of those sites where it's like I don't think I would be as successful as I am on the blue site without the community I've built on Twitch.
Yeah. No,
And-
I feel exactly the same.
Yeah, and they're constant, like they're so supportive on both sites. Like they'll be over on the blue site. So, like I'll have people in my chat over there being like, Celine's getting really close to partner numbers. You should check out her Twitch too. And like just constantly doing stuff like
so
that.
cute.
And I'm like, you guys are so fucking sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
amazing.
really
just-
hard to start like on
Yeah.
stage dry without any sort of
Yeah.
community or any streaming. Like, going on.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Twitch has a really like near and dear to my heart because that's where I started as well. Like my friend actually got me into VTubing. I love you, Desmodian Droid. She's also a YouTuber.
Aw.
But she's the one that really got me into it because like I did animal advocacy, I did veterinary and stuff like that, and I always wanted to do educational content, and like I was able to do a lot of that through Twitch. But then also I am a feral goblin, and sometimes I'm feral in other ways. So and I've done sex work in the past before, so I was like, ooh, I can go over there, and then also a lot of my community is like, hell yeah, we'll support you on there. And they're like, ooh, she's really, really interesting over there. She's a little more feral than...
Wow, that's a whole different vibe.
Exactly. But like, it's like Gremlin, but like, sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
100% I get that, yeah.
So like I love Twitch so much because like I can do all the stuff that I want to because a lot of my Twitch stuff, like obviously we all know that Twitch doesn't make money. I do a lot of charity streaming and I do a lot of educational stuff, so I do that, and like if you want to support the pup, you know where to go.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, actually, you bring up a really good point that Twitch is also really good for, not our monetary gain work and stuff like that, like charity streams and fundraisers and raising awareness about like certain foundations and stuff like that. Like I've also done like charity fundraisers to help friends out of bad situations, to do stuff. And even before I started doing streaming, I actually used to be a charity auctioneer for a lot of conventions that raised money specifically for kids in low-income families and for animals and stuff like that, and animal societies.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, it was one of the best things I did for years, and I loved doing it. And I met a lot of really interesting people, and then by doing that on Twitch, it's way easier to do that kind of thing on Twitch than it is over on the Blue Heart site, because the Blue Heart site, you can like I've seen like some really good fundraisers for like, kink awareness and things like the Trevor Project and like a lot of stuff like that, where it's like that money goes towards helping people who are often stigmatized or struggling in those kinds of communities.
For sure.
I saw a really wonderful person that did one for a battered women's shelter in their area and stuff like that, where they raised money for that kind of purpose. And I thought that was really wonderful. But one of the nice things about being able to have the two is that I can kind of focus the Blue Heart stuff as the monetary income that kind of helps me to fund my other passion projects, as well as, keep a roof over my head and food in my mouth. And whereas I can use Twitch to, spend more casual time with friends, but it also makes it easier to support and raise awareness about other stuff in a more kind of publicly accessible and safer workspace, which makes people feel a lot more comfortable about talking about the subjects.
Yeah. It's also like just sometimes I just want to fucking play Pokemon games.
Exactly.
And hurt myself in a Nuzlocke instead of getting edged by others,
Yeah, exactly.
Up in a different way.
The only one who's hurting me today is me.
It's
All right.
Or specifically edge me by making me play TFT with you.
I
I can't.
I go flying off a cliff
My
with my
brain
hammer and
can't do
Monster
it.
Hunter. Just like let me hurt myself in creative ways in a different way.
The new one has been Pokemon Unite. Every time I've had friends come into my chat, I'm like, we should play Pokemon Unite together.
That on the Switch?
It is. It's free on the Switch. You should get it.
Oh no!
You're being recruited.
You done?
I finally started paying for that monthly subscription on Switch.
Oh, it's almost like you
no.
could play Unite with me. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
It's a MOBA, and I love those. You
Yeah.
you dirty Parlor Street whore, you! Oh my god!
Where I am, motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that like some of the biggest cherry streamers out there are LewTubers. Like
Mm-hmm.
thinking
I was
of
in a
Vex the Sun
fans-
Eater.
Yes,
Yeah, I was-
Vixoria is a big
Oh,
example.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hodge has a charity. Like
Mhm.
I know Milf Doggo does a lot of stuff with like animal like welfare. Like there's a lot of people out
I was
there.
on
like,
Mama
people-
Blue's stream doing
Yeah.
a charity
Mama
stream for
Blue.
bees.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
We were doing the bee movie script.
Oh my
That's
god.
that's a banger.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
I think it's also just because like a lot of LewTubers, our communities are just fucking awesome. Like I'm gonna like toot our
Agree.
horns. Like we have amazing communities that are
Yeah.
so like they're not just supportive, they're also just generous to like in so many ways and want to help support what we're passionate about. And I
Right.
appreciate the
Mhm.
fuck out of that.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Like I genuinely would not be where I am today without how incredible my community is.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate the hell out of them.
Yeah, their generosity helps me foster my own, which
Mhm.
like puts me in a space where I can do those kinds of things, and it's
Exactly.
crazy. Like, the things I'm able to do now, just because some people were like, "Hey, you're neat. I want to support you." Absolutely
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
And and you mentioned earlier as well, like there are people in my community as well who, you know, they're not super interested in the saucy side of things, or and this is
Yeah.
actually a really big one, friends that are like, hey, I support that that's what you do for your work, but I don't want to watch you do
Yep.
that for your work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Valid. Totally fair. And I don't blame. And I've had friends like apologize to me, going like, I'm sorry, I don't watch those streams.
like-
And I'm like, or like, that I
No,
can't
you're
be
fine.
a mod on that site. I'm like, honey, it's fine. You're
Yeah.
totally okay.
Have any of you had any
I love you.
friends that got jump scared at any point? Because that
Yes.
just happened
Oh
to
my
me
God.
recently.
Yes,
My
I did.
my friend, one of my friends told me, we were in a group chat yesterday, and she told me, she was like, I was checking out like your spicy site, and I didn't realize you were streaming, and then I clicked on your live, and oh my god, she was like, my face went so red, and I clicked off of it, and I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you don't need to apologize. It gets wild. I am so sorry that
I
you
was
guys got
broadcasting
scared.
it.
Mhm. My buddy Frey, I felt so bad. He wants to be supportive, so he, you know, like sees a going live tweet, but he did not check what
Yeah.
the link was for, and
Blindly
so he
followed.
just clicked it, and he came in like mid moan and just kind of went, nope. I got a caps lock message saying, "Have a good stream, homie. My bad." And I'm like, wait, what happened? And I looked at the time they sent it, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm so sorry. And he's like, I'm not gonna lie, wasn't expecting most titty jump scare today, but
You know,
I've
what,
got times where I've spoiled art, and then like people are just like, I what? There's dick in this. I'm like, I
that's what I spoiled.
put warnings on it. I spoiled it. I said warning PP. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
Warning, PP.
Great disclaimer.
That just makes me think you've got like a little like hazard tape
Just a
wrapped
little
around
guy.
it.
warning.
No, it's a little hat that like
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's the safety
little
hat.
sa-
It's a safety
sorry,
hat.
It's the safety
hat.
Nah, so what happened to me was I had
it's
one
just
of my
certified.
old friends from high school, and there's a group
Oh,
of dudes from
no.
high school who have supported me in my streaming career, even back when I was like a flesh tuber and stuff like that. And they would just show up and like lurk my streams and be really nice and stuff like that. But they always give me a hard time for stuff, and I jumped into call with them one time. We were playing League, yeah. We'll gloss over that. But we were jumping into League, and we were playing, and one of them goes, "Googs, you owe me therapy." And I said, wait, why?
No.
And then the other friend goes, yeah, he found you on that other website that you stream on sometimes. And I go, oh no. And he goes, yeah, he saw your penis, man. He saw your like actual penis. And I said, no, all of those are blurred. If you don't subscribe, you can't see those.
No, well, actually.
I was like, you have to subscribe. How did you see it? And he was like, I mean, they're blurred, but like I can tell. That's a penis. And I was like, oh my god. And they were like,
Oh my god.
they were just like, Goog, how could you? And I was like, listen,
Dang,
you know
fucker, I
me. You've
found
known me
out.
this whole time. And they were like, no, we don't actually like judge you or anything. But yeah, he's going to need some therapy. He just saw one of his old friend's penises.
Just pretend it's
one
the
of-
gym locker, buddy. It's fine.
Yeah, like literally.
Locker rooms.
No, this
We're
is
back in
normal.
high school, baby.
Cross the pain.
Yeah.
I had one IRL friend who is a cosplay friend. She's like a super good friend of mine. She accidentally clicked onto one of my blue streams as well, and I just get a DM message from her. It was like, whoever did your model's art is really good at drawing nipples.
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
I was like, you were there.
They're like, wait a second, rewind.
And she was like, I didn't expect to see it, but I saw it. I was like, well, welcome to the party, homie.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they know a good nipple when they see one.
Right. Exactly.
Oh,
Penis. I'm sorry.
Peepnies.
A
Penis.
Oh my god.
Straight jork in my peanuts.
Freaking the weenus.
Oh god.
My friend's jump scare came with a tweet that Atra shared, actually, of us playing Uno. It was a clip.
Oh yeah.
And he wasn't prepared because it just looked like Uno.
That's my fault. I tend
Just
to do
look
streams
like
on
Uno.
with
It's like the-
innocuous games and
Tactical Uno.
It's like the Golf with Friends collab all over again.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That
no.
one was
Doing
so
that.
funny. Just
so
okay, guys,
funny.
try and screw each other up. Everybody goes, I'm gonna make this bitch come. It was like Atra just handed us all like paint guns and was like, don't get anything on the walls. And we're like, yeah, whatever.
That's honestly a great way to describe it.
Yeah, that was such a funny
I want to do another one of those. It was so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
Undying just with me being like, I'm just gonna leave this on high and good luck. And I'm like, listen here.
Dude, that's dirty. That's
like-
not fair.
Like, rude.
Nobody was
Nothing to
playing
it.
fair. That's what I mean. Literally, it was chaos. It was every single person was just like, all right, I got my code. Yeah,
So
fuck
we-
you.
So we don't get Atra in trouble because we are still on their
Yes, I'm sorry.
channel. I do want to take a beat because Atra will know exactly what I'm talking about. The moment of silence that happened after Atra made a certain noise was my favorite moment from the Golf with Friends.
Oh god.
Ah,
Mm.
I just remember being in like collabs like that, and it's like, why is everyone so quiet? And then like one of my mods, Tasty House, was like, we're listening. Like most like innocent voice.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we're listening, and you just like the sound that came out of you, the flustered noise that you made was so good.
So I have another question here about
About our topic.
about our topic. Yes. So there is. I personally haven't seen very much of this, but I know there is the perception about sex work in general, about it being quote unquote predatory or exploitive. So, what is your feeling about people who hold this belief that what you're doing is in some way manipulative or exploitive? And like, how do you relate that to sort of, how do you avoid having that misconception made of you, like in your content?
So,
Well, so is
but-
the traditional.
Go ahead, Mystique.
You first, Mystique.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
you first.
I thought
Yeah, you
Pegasus
first.
was talking.
oh no,
sorry.
I said you first.
Go. Yeah.
So is the traditional wage structure. So, like, what's your point? I'm working for myself. Is it
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it any less exploitative for me to sell my time and work to someone who's going to make so much more profit off it than I will?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the
Yeah.
sour grapes like phenomenon all over again, because even when someone does not have Fansly or an OnlyFans, and they just maybe just a regular streamer on Twitch, whatever it is, you'll see people making derogatory comments like, "Oh, what's the ad for the OnlyFans? Like, what's the Fansly?" Like, because they
Yeah.
just assume that you're in the space that you're trying to just wring money out of people, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. I think it's also, so not to get like super psychological about this, but if someone is calling out that they're like, oh, you are being manipulative, you are being exploitative in this kind of scenario, I think to a certain extent, for some people, they start making these kind of claims because they personally want to participate in these actions, but for whatever reason themselves feel that it is not morally acceptable for them. Whether this be they are partnered and while having these desires may be natural to them, it is not something that they feel morally is acceptable.
They got some sort of like moral standard to uphold, and
Exactly. So they have these
that
standards,
they cannot flaw.
and so
like,
in order to distance themselves from these desires that they're experiencing, they vilify the person that is making them feel this kind of temptation. So it feels a little bit very Scarlet Lettery, like, oh, filthy temptress, like
shame,
we're like
shame.
yeah, like just clacking the heels together and going, like it feels very indicative of their experience that they're going through in that moment to kind of call those things out. Now, that is not to say that there are not exploitative individuals that do these things. Like we were saying before, like the people going and pushing and being like, join this site to chat with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
And people who tweet those things like, shitting on people who don't subscribe or give them money.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
Like,
I find that very distasteful.
like,
Yeah.
I know with like my community, my number one rule is like put yourself first. If you are stable and comfortable after that, then you can feel free to support. But at the end of the day, I am very, very self-aware to know that I am a luxury. I am not a necessity to anyone who wants to support. And that is, I think that's a very good way of looking at it. Now, there are people that are more like, do exploit that type of stuff.
It's like a sense of entitlement. They're like, I'm entitled to your money, so you should be giving it to me. And it's like, no.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm not entitled to your time or your money. Like, this is something I like doing, and if you'd like to support me, then yeah, hell yeah, go for it. But the other part of it is, don't put your morals onto me.
Exactly.
Like, I experience this from multiple different realms because I am also a practicing witch, and I have people that will constantly try to shove other types of morals onto me, and it's like, I won't do that to you, don't do that to me in return.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a mutual respect is needed.
Yeah, there's a certain thing that you can do called, like, you can have a distaste for something, and even if that is rooted in an unpleasant place, like, you can have a distaste for something yet still tackle it respectfully. The problem is that the lack of respect, because it's like, because you have a distaste for this thing that I do, suddenly I am seen as less than a person in your eyes, therefore not eligible for your respect. And yet when you, it's the same concept of, like, when somebody's in an authority position, like, and that's what a lot of them do when they're in the moral high ground, is that what they feel is their moral high ground, where they go, oh, well, respect to you is treating you like a person. Respect to me is treating me like an authority. And that is not how that's supposed to go. Your word is not law, and you are more than welcome to have your inclinations however you wish to have them, so long as they aren't being pressed on another person or trying to harm another person for any particular reason, whether it's, morally, emotionally, physically, or financially. It just, like, it doesn't take a lot to be a decent person. And I am not less of a person because you don't like what I do.
Exactly. like my father puts it this way: he's like opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Just don't shit on others with yours.
I love
Banger.
that phrase.
Oh.
That's one of my favorites from growing up.
Banger.
That went in a different direction.
Yeah, because I thought for a second Celine was going to just say, like, don't show me yours, and I was like, well, I don't know.
I also thought it was like,
people,
don't show me
I mean, I like to,
my
you know, a
dad
nice
has,
asshole's pretty nice. I mean, I know.
My dad is a wonder with words sometimes.
How can I forget this, by the way? Chat, if you have any questions for our panel, we have about 20 minutes left, believe it or not. So please get your
Oh, wow.
questions in now. I have not even asked
Oh, wow.
you guys for questions yet.
We've just been going.
I flew back.
We've just been going.
I'm
yeah.
sorry,
That's
I
fucking
yap.
immaculate.
We're a yappy bunch.
Yeah.
We stream for a reason. We're yappers.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, if we're willing to talk into the void, trust me, once we've actually got other people to talk to,
Right.
it gets worse.
Oh, God. I crave attention. Please listen to me.
They were just talking about animals for who knows how long.
Not the validate my opinions with that voice.
Yeah, we could talk for a long time about animals too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna
chat
say-
calls it the werewolf transformation. When someone brings up, like, I do animal facts, so, like, obscure animal facts, so I'll just end up rambling, and it's like a werewolf transformation where I just only take over and just talk about that thing in STEM, because I also have autism, so
Yeah, autism. Let's go.
hell yeah. Spicy brain.
I have
So I guess-
ADHD, the cousin that people don't recognize.
I have not.
Spicy brain.
So, what would you say is your primary motivation for streaming on Twitch? All of you.
I wanted to create a community that is welcoming and accepting of all walks of life. And I feel like I've really created that. It was also very much like a big thing for me because being disabled, it's hard for me to do a lot of like other things sometimes. So this is something that I could safely do and put a lot of passion into. And I have really bad imposter syndrome. I can say that right now. I'm terrible about that shit. And so a lot of it was also kind of to prove my own self-worth naggingness wrong. Of being like, I'm not good enough for things. And I feel like I've come a very far way, and I am very proud of myself, and I'm trying to get better about taking credit for the work I put into things.
Nice.
Absolutely.
For me, being bedbound, it was a way to reach out into the world and affect the rest, like the world again. Because, you know, I just live in one room, so it's a way to broaden my world in a way that I haven't been able to otherwise.
And it really has been a particularly rewarding experience to get to know you, Mystique. Because I know you have your Twitch persona, the blue one, and you've got your spicier persona, the pink one, and you've always been sort of like the gold standard for me, like keeping those two things like together. The Seiso side, the comfy side, and like the YouTuber side. And I think in many ways, not just for me, but a lot of people, that has been a way to, like, showing the way, like how you can do both, how you can have both. Have different
Thank
people
you.
in the other. Yeah.
You can make me cry.
Well, I'm probably going to make it worse
I know
then.
you're sick. I keep dragging you out of like bed for like these podcasts.
I'm definitely going to make it worse because Mystique, genuinely, you helped me feel like obviously Atra was the first person I spoke to when first coming on to like, you know, the Depths podcast and doing this kind of stuff. And the way you approach things, you have this sense of like really gentle grace that was really comforting, but also like really interesting. And it made me like fascinated to hear what you had to say on the matter. And it's like you make this space very comfortable and educational at the same time, and it's great. And combined with Atra's charisma and humor and like just general Atraness, it's just been an absolute delight.
Raina, I am crying now.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's in words.
It's okay.
I mean,
Like,
Raina's
turn me into an adjective.
That's Atra, noun and verb.
Like I agree with Reina. Like we haven't gotten to like interact before, but like I've definitely like watched some of like your informative stuff, and like you have such a good way of like explaining stuff and everything that I could honestly like listen to you for fucking ever. Like it's so like
Oh, thank
you get very passionate about what you talk about, and I really really love that.
I do. That's why I'm like, okay, can I just like have a rant for a minute? Can I just like
Yeah, go
Hell
for it.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying that's why I say it,
No,
'cause
no,
I know
it's
that, like,
Everyone was just like, hell yeah, when you
the
get those
sexology
get
comes
your
out of her cage.
Goes out of her cage. You
got things to
uncaged
say.
the sexologist.
Yes,
I always think of it like a
Um,
professional wrestling like type of entrance.
like a luchador.
Fuck yeah.
In
I
3
just
minutes of
think of
education
the-
time.
Luchador.
I just think of that
Huge
gif of the
door.
like emergency locker monkey. Just like the
Oh my
locker opens and
God.
then Mystique comes rolling out, but then has like a book of sexology.
Yeah. Hey, did you know women have 7 holes instead of 3, like most people think?
I'm gonna find them all. Let's go.
It's like a Where's Waldo?
Magic school bus.
2 very different childhood experiences right there.
Sorry.
But to get back to Etch's question, because I'm going to lose my train of thought because this is far too much fun, and I'm also very warm because there's no fan in my office. It's and it's the middle of summer and it's like 30 degrees right now. I am toasting. By the way, I'm in Canadian units, so that's Celsius. But yeah, so the worst part is I have one, but the problem is we have trouble putting it into my window because it's like 3 feet from my microphone and behind a desk.
Oh yeah, no, I can't
Yeah.
have it on. It's like it's so loud. I can't have it on when I
Yup.
stream.
100%.
So I cool the room down as much as possible, and then just like
prior.
slowly bake.
Yeah. But yeah, so in general I started streaming like just because I had a massive backlog of games on Steam, and I was like, well, I have a friend who's introduced me to the world of streaming. Maybe that'll help me get through it. The answer was no. No, it didn't. I have more games now. It's a problem.
Dude, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Well, now I have even more like collaborative stuff because there's all these people that are like, yeah, let's play stuff online. I don't have and everything I
All
had
the
was
freaking
single player
multiplayer
games, and
I
I'm
have
like,
now.
well, crud. But I think a big part of it for me is the fact that I like in my late teen years into my early 20s, I was in the convention scene. I was doing the charity work. I was working alongside panelists. I was doing a bunch of like, just con related stuff. And I was on stage a lot, doing a lot of like announcy things and talking to people and dressing up in pseudo-related outfits to whatever the hell the convention was about. And like talking to VAs and talking to all these wonderful people, and then also doing first aid during those as well, because god damn it, people don't know how to hydrate when they're wearing wool.
Do not.
Genuinely, someone came to a convention in era accurate like war fatigues, and they were like in the proper buttoned up wool coat and everything, and I had to treat them for heat exhaustion because it was the middle of August. Yeah, and I was like, are you wearing the full on like the calf socks too? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, we're gonna take your boots and jacket off real quick, and we're gonna get you a couple cool packs. But I like interacting with people. While I'm an introverted extrovert in the fact that when I'm in a big group of people or I'm around a lot of people, I will social butterfly and hop around to conversations and have an absolute bomb of a time. But when I'm in like a small space, I'm super, super scared of like stepping on someone's toes or like interrupting somebody or like all that stuff. And so it's like when calls like this happen, I'm just like trying to be as hyper aware as I can be that I'm not like interrupting somebody. And Discord's dissonance does not help that.
Yeah.
And so being able to do streaming, whether it was solo or when I was doing like, Arma stuff or talking to people in general, because I used to be a flesh tuber before I did the model. And this ironically all happened by accident. Because one day I was working at the warehouse, something landed on my face that had a chemical component that gave me like red splotches all over my face. And I really wanted to stream, but I really didn't want to be on camera. So I used a single PNG that my art parent now, or was before my model, made for me, and was kind of the mascot for the channel, Reina. and I just started using the PNG. And then afterwards, I realized how much more comfortable I was. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I never went back until I started doing Blue Heart content, where I told my community, like, yeah, no, I'm genuinely this curvy IRL. Like, I've got the tummy pouch. I've got, like, the thick thighs that will try to consume the band of whatever thigh highs I'm wearing. Like, this is pretty close to, like, you know, my model is themed after pretty close to my actual body size.
Yeah.
And people were like, yes? And I'm like, are you... And I did some photos and stuff like that prior to that, but I was like, do you guys want to see it on stream sometime? And so we made it a goal, and then it happened, and then people were very excited. And I was like, okay, this was not the reception I was expecting, but neat. Yeah, so I kind of like, ironically, when I started doing Fansly, I went backwards. I went back to doing something I used to do, but in a new way, in a way that was more comfortable and also still within my boundaries and still kind of in the melding pot of stuff I wanted to do. So yeah, started out as, oops, I want to play the games that I have in my backlog and maybe communicate and talk to people, into, well, I guess this is my job now.
It really is a slippery slope. Like, you think you're going to stream a couple days
Yeah.
a week, and suddenly you're streaming 7 days a week.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll just stream when I'm not modding. I haven't modded in like a year.
If I'm not
pain.
on
It's
Twitch,
real.
I'm on the blue site.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But Googs and Kai, I'd like to hear from you two as well.
Go ahead, Googs, take it away.
What exactly was the question again?
What was your impetus for starting?
Oh, my
stream
okay. I that's kind of what I surmised, but I wanted to make sure I was okay. So, yeah, my impetus for starting streaming. So originally when I first did it, it's kind of, I'm gonna try and keep this as brief as possible. I originally started flesh tubing because I was doing a D&D campaign and a bunch of people wanted to play it. But I was like, sorry guys, my limit is 6 players. Like, it gets too boring after 6 players. Nobody gets a turn during combat. Takes forever. So I was like, I can't put in any more people. And they were like, damn, I've been hearing a lot of really good stories about your like D&D campaigns and stuff. And they were like, is there any way I can watch? And I said, sure. And so we first started streaming on Discord. And then it was so many people wanted to watch that they were just like, you should just stream it on Twitch. So I started doing that. Then somebody was watching it and they were like, you're actually really entertaining on stream. You should stream other stuff. I started doing that. Then my ex was like, you spend all this time streaming and I don't like it and you should stop. And I said, okay, whatever you want, honey. Then about 6 years later of that abusive relationship, that just being like one of the points to kind of, you know, show that, I decided, I suddenly like had the veil lifted from my eyes and I was like, holy shit, bro, you hate your life. And it was because I one day had a mental breakdown, told her I want a divorce, I want to move, and I want to quit my job. And she was like, let's quit your job. We'll do that first. And I was like, what? And she was like, I'll write the email for you. And I was like, okay. And she goes, and you know what? You can start streaming again. You liked streaming, right? And I was like, okay. I said, but I want to be a VTuber. And she goes, okay. And so then I started VTubing. And when I made my character, I basically made his whole backstory a hedonistic demon that does whatever he wants and just like enjoys the pleasures in life. Because for me, it was this catharsis of getting out and experiencing the life I was unable to have. Because I was living a life in which I was unable to really do anything for myself. So I started doing that. And very quickly, probably a month into it, that was when I was like, holy shit, dude, I've not been myself for like 6 years. I had forgotten who I was. The moment I got online and people started like watching my streams and reacting to stuff, I was like, right, this is who I am. And so in kind of finding myself through that, that's kind of what brought me into it and kind of what has become the real driving passion for it. It was this kind of rediscovery of myself. And like what I really enjoyed doing, which is like entertaining people, making people smile, making people feel good. So that was kind of the impetus for the starting streaming again.
Absolutely. I'm going to actually combine questions here for Kai. Because Yifi asked earlier, what's your biggest goal in adult content creation too? So Kai, two-part question. What was your impetus and continuing motivation to stream on Twitch? And what's your biggest goal in the adult content space?
Yeah. I know I touched a bit on Twitch,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, number one, I'm also an autoimmune girly, so like for me, I also have a 9 to 5 where I work like mainly remote, and then sometimes I go into like the office and stuff like that. But like being a human is freaking exhausting and tiring, and being a dog is much more fun. So that's pretty much why I love Twitch, and also the fact that like building a community is lovely, and also having a safe space, and also being able to verbage animal facts and also educate people at the same time is pretty freaking lit, while also playing video games. But on I was gonna say Jamsley. Sorry, that's my code name for the site for my friend.
You can
I'm like,
say
we're gonna.
Jamsley, it's
all the
fine.
euphemisms we use.
Well, I literally, like, if I'm streaming on there after Twitch, I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna jam on Jamsley later. So if you want, so if
I
you
just
guys
told my
like
channel about to
jamming,
become coin operated.
that's a good one. But yeah, we dance there. Pretty much, yeah. We dance on Jamsley, but. A lot of why I do both is just like I'm like my unferaled organic self in both capacities. So like I'm a feral goblin and being able to regurgitate whatever I want, and people are like, yeah, I fuck with that, and also be able to do that in like a lewd space is freaking like super lovely and freeing. And one of my goals, I guess, is like I've hit a lot of my goals in terms of building that community that's super duper cool and all the time is like always comfy. Like if there's someone that doesn't like follow the rules, like it's so funny that you guys mentioned it because they just boot them out. And I think that's like the biggest goal about being being an entertainer and having a community is having those people that also uplift you and also create that cozy vibe for you to want to continue streaming. And wanting to keep coming back. But I guess now my lucrative goal would probably be doing more voice acting work. My 3DO died, no idea what happened to it. We'll figure it out.
Oh, rip.
Oh no.
Rest in peace.
Did any of you see the 3DO that Fuzzy made for me?
Oh my god, no.
No, I'd love to see it though.
Link it in the Discord.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You said made? That's interesting.
Made,
Yes.
Made.
Actually, fun fact, Podges.
I
for their
posted it
ASMR
on
stuff is
Twitter,
also...
but here you go.
Podges is also not like a 3DO that they actually made their own like ASMR style microphone setup, and they sent me a picture of it, and I'm like, that looks so stuck together, but it works so good. Oh my god!
That's both terrifying and adorable.
Yep.
I love and hate that.
But why did you
Oh,
get
that's
eyes,
so
though?
good.
That's
The visceral emotions I feel.
Amazing.
Would you rather something without eyes looking at you?
My thing is, why the nose get tamped down like that? What'd you do to the nose?
It used to be my wig stand, you see.
So it fell on
okay.
his face a
I
lot,
had to
I'm
wear
guessing.
wigs for a year, way back when. And I didn't ask for this, by the way. He came in last night and was like, do you have your old wig head? And I was like, yeah. And he got it out of the box, and I was like, that's weird, but fine.
It's time to
And
tinker.
then he got a package from Amazon, and he was like tinkering in the lounge, and I was like, okay, doing my own thing. And then he came and presented me with this. I call her Alice MR.
Great.
A regal name,
love
fit
that.
for
A
a queen.
regal name for a regal.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Set up.
beautiful. Majestic.
But yeah, I would say probably getting into more voice acting. I think Foley work is really, really fascinating too. So major props to you guys that do your own because it's a lot of fucking work, I imagine.
Yeah.
You gotta buy a lot of weird shit.
I mean,
Or
I
you gotta
bet.
improvise. You gotta
I bet.
improvise in some cases. Rice pudding is surprisingly your friend.
All right. take a
I
note.
also
Also
think a raw
Orbeez.
chicken breast can go. Orbeez, right? Orbeez.
Orbeez.
I got
Orbeez.
Orbeez.
Okay. All right. I'm writing it down.
definitely
I
Orbeez.
did a
Okay.
whole tentacle audio with like 4 different layers of Foley with a cock sleeve in a giant bowl of Orbeez with water and like another layer with Orbeez and oobleck.
That is
And
genius.
it turned out so amazingly
I
spooky.
bet.
So cool.
Oh,
That sounds
For all you
amazing.
Foley nerds.
Yeah, I
out
just
there.
found out about
Describing it
Orbeez, and it's
sounds so
because somebody said
visceral, and I'm
put
like,
your
oh.
wee wee in it, and I said okay.
You gotta put
I was
warm
just about to
water
say,
on them.
like, I don't have to do any of that. I just get a sleeve and just go to town.
There's that too.
The good old natural.
The natural.
Sometimes you just gotta keep it simple.
Sometimes
what I
you
used
just
to do-
wiggle the juices
I
around.
used to put like a patch of lube on my arm and just slap my arm, and it was like it would make the plap plap sound, but I just it's not the same.
You see, I was thinking too far into the Foley world, and I was just like, you get some raw chicken breasts, and you chicken,
Oh yeah,
get a
Like
nice.
the
salmonella.
salmonella. What the salmonella?
No, I'm gonna put the salmonella all over my apartment. Makes me strong. Okay, I'm not trying to be
Okay,
weak
I
like
cannot-
all of you.
It's like
I
rubbing
can't-
dirt in a wound. It works.
I just use that like vitamin E cream that comes in those big like tubs with the plungers on the top, and just like slap my tummy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
that's smart.
Yeah, valid.
I mean, that's where
valid
most of the
as fuck.
plapping comes from, is from the tummy and the thighs. I feel like.
Well, it does
Yeah,
with
usually,
me anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it does with me
172.
too. You know, I got that dad bod build.
Ayo.
Hey, that's
Hey.
good.
Hey, it's you're the dad bod, so.
I mean, you know what? I'm loving it too. I'm like, I got the big arms and the big chest, and then I've just I can't get abs. It just won't happen. Never been part of my
You don't
life.
need
I mean,
them.
I
It's fine.
can also
you know
say,
what?
like,
Strong
I
men
got
have
this-
bellies. You don't need
yeah,
abs.
It's true.
exactly.
Yeah.
And God damn it, if I ain't strong. Physical
Also,
labor
like,
jobs.
I can also say, like, from experience and like hanging out with Goog IRL, like Goog gives amazing hugs. I can say
Oh,
that.
hell yeah.
Oh.
Dad
I'm a
bod
big
gives
man.
you
Got big arms.
Ooh,
Yes,
hello.
that-
Like my goals for content
Yes,
creation.
Your big adult
God.
content goal.
My adult content goal. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to do. I want to do more streams because, like, at this point, I've done 2. Neither of which have been solo yet, but my next one will very likely be. But I want to do more of the streams, and it's not so much a goal. Well, I guess it is a goal. It's a goal of like actually motivating myself to get my shit done, because I'm like, I have the capabilities to write my own scripts and then voice them and then edit them, and that's all I've got to do. Just sit down and do it, Googs. It's gonna be worth it, because every time you do, it turns out to be a pretty good product and people like it, you know? And there's some of the things that give me the most like notice or anything like that, or even are more lucrative for me, but it's just like
The ADHD
sitting down and
gopher.
ADHD, that dopamine
Executive
deficit.
dysfunction go burr.
Yeah, exactly. Just like it will not do it. It's like, no, you know what you want to do? You want to get on Monster Hunter World for some reason right now and grind
You haven't played it in
monsters.
months, but you're gonna
And it's a
do
good
it right
idea.
now because
And
it's
it's a
not the
great
thing you need to
fucking
do.
idea. And you know what else
You want to
should
get
do?
into polymer clay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Indie
honestly,
resin
no.
making. That's
No,
what-
lately
Oh my
it's
god,
been
don't get me
cosplay.
started on
Lately,
resin making and cosplay props.
lately it's
Ugh.
cosplay right now. It
Yep.
really has
Mhm.
been. I'm looking at doing a Wholesome outfit within the
Heck
next couple
yeah.
weeks.
Hell yeah.
You have the perfect body for that.
Mhm.
Not the way you said that. Oh, I'm blushing.
Aw.
Well,
No,
we're all
but-
making each other cry on this podcast.
I'm telling you, we're wholesome.
I was gonna say, chat. This is where the wholesome energy is coming in.
Right.
Exactly.
But honestly, I've made some such amazing friends in like the Lewd tuber sphere. Like the most awesome people, just genuine, positive, uplifting. You know, there are assholes, but there are
yeah.
also some of the like
Mhm.
shiniest gems I've ever met.
Yeah, so I discovered Elden Ring, and I haven't been able to read or write scripts in like a week and a half.
Oh no, we've lost him.
You know what actually is crazy, Atra? What I did for one of my streams last night was I literally wrote a script on stream that's going to be on there. I'm doing a Von Lycaon, or Lycaon, however you pronounce his fucking name. The wolf guy from Zenless Zone Zero that everybody's horny for.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
saw
I wrote a
someone do
script.
an incredible cosplay of that guy.
The-
I
wolf
I
daddy.
saw the one. So like that's what I did, and I was like, so it was part like they're getting to see the art getting made live, and then they also get to distract me. So I was like, let's figure out a way that we can get some work done.
Stealing that idea.
Let's make
More
work
productive.
fun.
Do
Yeah.
you ever wonder where the cursed scripts Atra like publishers sometimes come from? It's when he script writes on stream.
Yes.
Mm.
I
I've
love
written
that.
The most terrible cursed things just right on stream. It's a different animal completely.
Yeah. Well, on my Twitch stream, that's where my two like short stories that are really cursed came from, because I have a writing redeem. It's like 10,000 points or whatever. But
Hmm.
Oh.
I thought
basically,
you were going to say
they-
10,000 words. I was like, Jesus Christ.
oh no, they go on as long as I feel like, as long as the story needs to go. They've ended up being like short stories that are like 4 to 5 pages long sometimes. But yeah, it's always I just take a prompt from chat and then I just randomly write there. So. It's one of those things of I'm trying to figure out. It's also like with workouts and stuff I have on my chat, and people are very good about reminding me to do it.
Yes.
So I have lifting. No, it's lifting, and I keep on buying heavier weights because I keep on getting used to them. But now I'm up to like 40 on each arm for my curls, and I'm like,
Hell yeah.
this is aggressively heavy. But you know. It's one of those things of I just keep on trying to figure out ways that I'm like, how can I motivate myself to do things while streaming?
Yeah.
For a while there, I thought I'd study Japanese on stream too. It didn't work, but
I remember
like-
those days actually.
yeah.
Can you give me your best Megan Thee Stallion impersonation right now?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Moving on to Celine. Celine, what would you say is your biggest goal for like adult content creation at the moment?
So I start like I've done like adult like sex work type of stuff for a while. Like I started in college with like phone sex work and stuff like that. I started with Fansly in January, and I've been doing pretty fucking good. I think like in the long goal, I would like to really start getting into like the VA work. Like I'm currently working on like a demo reel for that. That if I don't finish with it before my next meeting, my manager might actually throw something at me. In the most loving way possible. But I would like to do a lot more stuff with that. I'm also a big goal of mine is to get more comfortable in my own skin, because I do have like a lot of like trauma and stuff like that with the way that I look. And kind of like what Goog was saying, where he stopped streaming for a while. I stopped streaming for a while because of my abusive ex. But then once we broke up, my like getting into VTubing was to give the biggest middle finger to her and start streaming to prove her wrong. And
Spite
think,
could
like-
be a powerful motivator.
Oh,
it
Spite is
really
so
is.
powerful.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this. You can't fucking stop me now, bitch.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to get more into like the VA side of it. Like I'm trying to start getting started with script reading, which I've actually like talked to Goog about as well. And yeah, once again, ADHD goes real bad someday.
Mhm.
Like my manager
And you
will
should
see
just add
me
more
on like
platforms too. Just sign up for all the platforms.
yeah.
Open the Patreon, why not?
My latest brain rot has been Grocery Store Simulator because it's a multiplayer one,
Oh.
and oh my god, it is
Oh no.
it's like gets a message and it's like, have you worked on your stuff? Yeah, you haven't started. No.
That's really lovely to hear, though, Celine. Very lovely. Reina, how about you? What's your big goal in adult content creation?
I guess like this is kind of a blanket statement, I guess, but it's one of those things where it's like I want to improve the quality of the stuff that I'm already doing. I want to get better at self-lighting for my photography and my videos, because a lot of my stuff I photograph and film myself, because I usually do it while the Candyman's at work, because the house is empty, and and it's like I might as well. Same goes for my recording stuff, because it's most likely to be the quietest time during the day, and I don't have a sound booth at this current time. So one of my goals is I'm actually looking to make a like a put up, put down sound booth for myself. So I can actually record inside a sound booth to improve the quality of my recordings. I've already been like slowly working on improving the equipment I've been using over the years. Like I initially started using a blue snowball, so it's just only gone up from there. But I guess one of the biggest things for me is I want to get better at my time management so I can put more of my time, effort, and love into doing the things that I want to do. So like doing more of the VA work and leaning more into that. Lately, I've been so emotionally and physically exhausted that I've just not had the spoons to do it. And it's been super upsetting because it's like, I don't feel like I'm just letting myself down. I feel like I'm letting my community down. But being able to like kind of expand a little bit on the content that I'm currently making, just kind of improving on what I'm already doing and just growing from it, getting better at the folly, getting faster at my editing. That's the big thing for me, is the speed in which I'm doing it. And Goog, you came for the throat with that when you were talking about, oh yeah, I've got all my equipment set up, I've got this thing ready, everything's good to go. Why am I not pressing record? Why am I not, writing the script?
Yeah.
Because all my friends are on the computer.
And that's God, yeah, exactly. The computer is where my friends live, and they're only like a click away, especially if they're streaming something or doing something. I can hang out with them and
I'm just gonna listen to my friends stream in the background while I write chat for the next hour.
It's
the worst part.
It's even worse when you see them in their like in the VCs and their Discords, and you're like, I could join them.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is ironically enough, I actually, that's the other thing I do want to start doing more, as well as like working on more collaborative stuff with other adult workers, because the stuff I've done already I've really enjoyed. Like Mystique, I'm going to be hounding you. I swear, the moment, because the other thing I want to do that I have not yet had a chance to do, and it's been driving me up the fecking wall, I want to make 3D content.
Ooh. Yes, please come and make 3D content with me.
I have a 3D model. I have a nude base that has the fiddly bits. I want to do the thing, and I have a VR headset. I just don't have like body tracking yet. But
you don't need it.
And that's the thing, is I don't need it. But there's y'all probably have experienced this at some way or another, where there's that little part in the back of your brain that's like, but I don't have everything that could make this the best it could possibly be, so I can't do it. And it's like,
yep.
Bitch, you're stopping yourself. Stop it.
That was literally me with Fancily streams. I was like, I don't have my live 2D yet with the nude toggle and all that. Yes. I can't do it. And then I finally was just like, screw it. Hey, Mama Blue, draw me a PNG Tuber Plus. We're going.
But, and it's like, ironically enough, because I didn't look into doing VTubing as like the thing I was going to do for streaming, I accidentally fell into it. And then when I wanted to do the model, that was when it was like, okay, no, now I'm actually like, okay, is this ready? Is this done? Fun fact, when my model actually released in January of this year, because I've been a PNG tuber all the way up until this point, except for the, year and a bit that I was doing flesh tubing. I could only reveal part of my model because one of my outfits had a very tragically TOS-inducing Twitch against Twitch thing. I had a pussy porthole on my skirt, and so we had to fix that. We had to fix that because there was nothing I could do unless I sticky note something in front of me and like hoped it didn't move enough for people to see it. And ironically enough, we turned it into a toggle later on because we were like, actually, that could be kind of funny for the other site, so let's keep it. So I want to improve the quality of what I'm already doing right now. Like, I've talked about this in other places as well. I'm already working on version 2 of this model currently with my art parents. And one of the things that we're adding to it, because when it was first brought into creation, wasn't initially the adult side of things. I wasn't really super focused on using the model for that. I wasn't really sure if I was going to. But now that we know that I am for sure, we are adding a bunch of really fun toggles. We're adding new leg positions and stuff like that. We're adding a bunch of stuff to it that I'm really excited for. Like, I'm getting a full-on model glow up, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, the crossed fingers if the sky doesn't fall and everything goes as planned. I will be re-debuting with the new model sometime during my content creation anniversary next year. So next year's August is the soft goal. But yeah, essentially everything that I'm doing right now, a year from now, I want to be doing what I still love to do, but I want to be doing it better. And I want to add a little extra something that I haven't done. So the 3D model stuff, I want to add like some more fun collaborative pieces with other people in the field, because I have so much respect and love for the homies that do this, like, and that are on that daily grind and working on that shit with like alongside me. Because that's the thing, is like we're all technically like in pseudo competition with each other, because obviously like we're in a weird niche of VTubers that do sexy things and are and whatnot. But at the same time, I like working alongside so many of you, and I've got mad respect and I've got like major admiration for others in the field. Like Vixoria is obviously a big one, but like two of my favorite people like Kira P and Podge the Goblin, like two people I massively look up to, and I look forward to any opportunity to chat with them, not just, you know, from what I can learn from them, but from the fact that they are just genuinely lovely people and I adore their company. And I want to be able to be that. I want to be able to bring myself to a point where I'm like, I am proud of the content I make. I am looking forward to the stuff I can continue to make, and I want to make it even better the next time around. That's my goal.
Right.
It's a beautiful goal.
Beautiful mind.
Thank you.
How about you, Mystique?
My current goal is easy. I'm trying to earn enough money to come over to the States to visit you.
Aww.
Aww.
That's so sweet.
I love that.
So that's my current goal. But yeah, it's difficult due to the nature of my condition. It's unreliable, so I can't generate it like a constant content stream. But I really want to start broadening my horizons and working with the people that I look up to, like Raina and Podge, and you know, working with a whole bunch of people and making new friends and making like really sexy fuck nasty content. I also really want to get back into
Hell yeah.
I also really want to get back into the voice acting, because I've had some audios that have been quite successful before my oral surgery.
Your audio work is gorgeous.
And I've had like a bit of a mental block about getting back into them, so I just need to like hit myself with a frying pan until I do it. But yeah, current goal is to go over to the States, see my partner in Kentucky, and first and foremost to visit Atra, and probably make some fuck nasty IRL content with him as well.
Fuck nasty.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so just in closing thoughts.
What about
everybody.
you, Atra?
What about you, Atra?
Yeah.
You don't get to get out of this question.
I don't know.
And that's okay.
What are you fucking for, Atra? What are you fucking for?
I just want to.
If you don't fuck
You're
for
firing the cum.
something-
What's the destination?
I really like doing this. It's
Destination.
been, after 15 years of working like in an office and like just all the stuff that I've had to do and put up with, like it's been good to just feel attractive and like make content that makes people feel good. And I don't know how far it's gonna go. I constantly surprise myself like how far things I do go sometimes. And while they don't always work out, sometimes they really do. And I just want to keep going to see as far as it can go, you know?
See how far you can hit on the backboard of life.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Oh, boy.
True words have never been spoken.
It popped into my head and I'm like, I
Just-
have
just
to say
back
this
shots
out
for
loud or
life.
it's gonna haunt me.
Raina, I love you so much.
Thank you. My brain comes up with shit, and if I don't say it out loud, it haunts me.
I
in my
am
sleep.
so glad we got to meet. God damn.
But for our listeners at home, I hope that this has given you a better insight into the way LewdTubers think and operate, and know that we're not just one-note streamers. We're not just the sex work and the content. There are many, many facets to doing the content that we do, and the personas and the OCs and the things behind us. There are people behind these things, various motivations, and so many important things that we need you to know about ourselves. And know that we're not ruining LewdTubing, VTubing. We're not ruining Twitch. We're enhancing it. And I hope that whether you're considering joining us in the LewdTubing sphere, or we're just curious about like our insight, that this has informed you in some way.
Yeah.
Any
We are
closing
about
thoughts,
one
Pam?
flavor in the VTubing melting pot.
Exactly.
Mhm.
We're just the
Alright.
flavor with a lot of sprinkles.
And
There
a
we
We're
lot
the
go.
of
bowl that
Thank
someone
you.
threw a few
Thanks.
many 200 hundreds of thousands into.
Okay, I wasn't sweet. I didn't mean sprinkles like that. I meant rainbow sprinkles and were very
I was
colorful.
referring like sprinkles, like like on a cupcake.
Yeah. Atra, why are you bringing up piss, huh?
I don't know, Sprinkles. Why are you bringing it piss?
Don't you gaslight me?
I think you're doing it to
No,
yourself,
don't bring out the
dude.
spring googs.
The spring
Before-
googs.
The
Oh my
mind
God.
fuck.
Spring googs.
Before we go, I'm going to give our guests a chance to do some plugs, starting again with Kai. I want you guys to talk a little bit about what you got going on, what you got coming up, and where people can follow you. Go ahead, Kai.
So yeah, I am planning a re-debut. Who knows when it'll happen, but it will happen. I have a lot of stuff in the works, and I just gotta, line all my ducks in a row, so to speak. So yeah, you can follow me on Kaimiho on most things except Blue Sky, because I found out today I don't have one. So probably should get on that.
Me too.
Y'all you're making me feel like a reverse boomer bringing it up. Like, y'all on the blue sky?
I
Like, I'm
swear
talking
to
about
God, I heard you
MySpace.
say boober, and I was like, did I
also
miss
heard
something?
boober.
Yes, that's what a lewd boomer is.
Boober's a boober, okay.
Funny you should mention that. You'll find that one that's funny in like 5 minutes.
But yeah, last minute shout out. I love my Android wife, Desmond Android, who actually got me into VTubing. I want to do a huge shout out to her because I wouldn't be here without her, and also my wonderful community for showing up and being super lovely with all the questions. And yeah, I'm really glad to meet everyone here because everyone's freaking dope.
You amazing.
Thank you so much, Kai. It was wonderful to meet you, and thank you so much for bringing your insight to today's panel.
Yeah, of course. Ooh.
Next up, we've got Mr. Goog. What you got going on?
Man, so much and so little. Where do I start?
Piss.
No, it's kind of I'm in that life right now of waiting game. I have my model's art. It's got to get rigged, so we're gonna have the 1.0 debut coming soon, someday. So that's gonna be on the rise. Other than that, I do have a collab with multiple different people, like IRL collabs that I go around and do with people. I have a lot of those coming up, so be looking for those on the Blue site. And then I have another Toxic Game show coming up in the following month. Celine was on the last one. She can attest. It's a fun show.
It's really
Check it
fun.
out. Yeah, so that's the big stuff. Other than that, once a month I play D&D. So, the best way to keep track of this stuff is, honestly, Twitter is where I make the announcements for the big stuff on stream. Otherwise, I tend to stream Tuesday to Thursday, and then sometimes more than that because I'm truly a guerrilla streamer, and I'm too ADHD for this world.
And your Twitter account is?
My Twitter account is Mr. Googs VA.
There we go.
Thanks.
Next up, Celine.
Thanks,
Okay,
Dad.
this is Witch VT.
So some things I have coming up. After TwitchCon, we're going to be working on getting a 3D model of my current model getting done. I've actually been talking a little bit with the person lately. I have a new outfit that will be being finished up within the next couple of months, as well as a new NSFW toggle for the Blue site. I am also, as far as with Twitch, I am actually working towards partner numbers right now. We're getting very close to the partner numbers, so every bit of support really, really helps with that. And I'm going to be doing some VA work here in the future, and also some blue site stuff at TwitchCon.
Heck yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at TwitchCon we're also planning a game night, like an IRL.
Oh yes, we are.
Board game night.
Ooh.
Also,
That's
you
gonna be
you can also find me everywhere under the handle Pegasus Witch BT. And if you like Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Soul Lock, Nuzlocke stuff, feel free to give me a follow over on Twitch as well.
Absolutely. Googs and Celine, thank you both so much for coming on to the show today. And like, it's been wonderful to work with you in the blue site, but it's also really nice to have you both here to talk. And yeah,
Thank you
so
for
to
having
speak.
us.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Reina, how about you?
Well, as I said before, keep an eye out. I'm hoping to get some of the 3D content ideally out before the beginning of next year. As God is my witness, and everyone that's friends with me in VR chat, I swear, I promise, I see your messages. But things to kind of look forward to. I am going to TwitchCon as well. This will be my first year going, so I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to be there for the full weekend, and I'm actually going to be in San Diego for 6 days in total. A few days before and a few days after, so that way I can also take the boyfriend around and, you know, carry my candy around, his literal arm candy, and be like, look, see, place.
Look at
I'm
what I have
dragging you here. It's a look at the man I have conquered, and also I'm taking him to get good treats because he's been very sweet and exceptionally supportive while I've been doing this whole kit and caboodle. Because the other thing is, right before TwitchCon, I have my 2-year content creator anniversary. For the whole last week of August, I will be doing a week-long celebration on my Twitch and also on my Fansly. I'll be doing some like very long streams on Twitch. I will be streaming every single day on Twitch during that week, and I will be streaming at least 4 of those days on Fansly as well. So there will be lots of double streams, lots of long-form content, lots of me bringing over homies and stuff like that. For my cat's birthday, which happens to land on the Wednesday of that, I'm going to be replaying Stray, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, well, look, if I'm not able to spend time with her IRL, I've got to imagine she's there with me somehow.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, massive thank you to everybody in my community. This is 2 years now that I've been able to say that this is the job I get to do, and it's all thanks to the lovely people I get to do it alongside. So, thank you for the opportunity. And thank you, Atra, for the opportunity and bringing me on here, and Mystique, as always, for being an absolutely fantastic co-host and just absolutely wonderful, and also my nuzzle partner.
Nuzzle. I love nuzzling you. It's like the best thing. Oh, I lost tracking. I nuzzled too hard.
It's all good. Nuzzled too hard. Tracking is lost.
You're too close to the sun.
It's like, oh, Raina's leaning my way.
Thank you so much, Reina. Your insight is always appreciated on the show, and it's always a joy to have you on here.
I don't know how you're not sick of me yet.
We will never be
Every
sick
time I
of
talk
you,
to you, I get
Raina.
more ideas for like topics, not less. Let's put it that way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I am nothing if not a fountain of bad ideas and sometimes good ones.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Lady Mystique, tell us what you got going on.
Currently, I have several shoots that I'm editing. They have been with Susie Q and Andy Bunn, both of whom have been on the podcast, and Atramentum, who has been on the podcast. And I have an upcoming one with Papa Welsh, who has also been on the podcast.
Yeah.
So they'll be coming out in the next few weeks. I'm also going to be getting into fan dubbing some spicy clips and hopefully doing some NSFW voiceovers as well. I will also be getting a customs menu together if you are looking for some custom content. I see those heart eyes, you naughty mouse.
I can't help it every time I look at you, sweetheart.
It's the podcast, the porn pipeline.
But you can find all of my socials and everything that I've been doing at ladymystique.tv. Please do remember to take out the UE for Mystique. I did try, but that was taken. So,
Thank you as always for being my co-host, Lady Mystique. I really appreciate you. We didn't have you on for a couple episodes, though you've been missed, of course.
Thank
It's glad
you.
to have you back.
sorry I was sick for this one.
You're fine.
And it's
You are a
4:05 in the morning.
That also. Time
Mhm.
zones. And as always, I've been your host, Atramentum_X, Rise Streamer and LewDtuber. You can find all my links at atramentum.inc. That's INK. The Depths is streamed live on Twitch on Friday nights. We will have another episode next week, which we will show shortly, the teaser for. Otherwise, we hope that you have a wonderful night and a great rest of your day. Leading into our... Where is it? There it is. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.